Mike.
There we ready. You hear me?
Welcome to the ATS RLSS Champions Cup 2. And nice to meet you. I'm Sporty FC. Joining me again is BlakLightning. And for the second ever Champions Cup, we've got an incredible day of incredible action ahead of us. This is day 2, the top 8, and the single elimination bracket. But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about how the teams got here in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Tenax. Well, we didn't see Tenax on this stream, but we saw them on the bracket take down some really strong teams just to get here. They played phenomenally against teams that honestly were seeded higher than them and probably expected to beat them. Same thing with Visionaries. I mean, they like we've established yesterday. You know, they came in as a last minute addition into the tournament, and they really showed themselves a worthwhile opponent for a lot of teams. They took down Pronoia. They did lose in the round 3 stages, dropping them down to this lower bracket. So, I mean, I really expect great things out of these two teams. It's going to be a close match. I personally have like I said, I have no experience watching 10x premiere, but I'm expecting this to really, this is going to be a long game. This is going to drag out. I highly expect it's going to go to a game 6. And that's going to be kind of what's going to be the deciding factor here for these two teams is who's going to be able to be more composed and who's going to be able to be a little bit more consistent, because I feel like Visionaries has struggled a little bit in the prior series where that inconsistency shone through against Affinity Sapphire in that match yesterday, where they didn't seem very coordinated against them as they did against Pronoia. So if they're able to compose themselves, I suspect Visionaries will be the ones coming out on top here, but it's really up to who's just being the more consistent team.
And you're right about that as well. Consistency is key. And you're right about how these teams both have found a good amount of consistency. Specifically, Tenax has found a lot of consistency. This team has a lot of experience together, has worked together a lot in their time. I would expect them to do pretty well, but hey, you're not wrong about how an end-to-end played yesterday. This is a team that came into this event as a relative unknown. They were kind of thrusted into this event, and they've really exceeded expectations, going all the way to the quarterfinals. But we talked about how the teams have gotten here. We should really talk about a lot more also about the other teams here with them. They're not the only teams there. There's 8 teams playing today in only best of 7 matchups. So a much different I would say a much more difficult day on paper for these teams, because I mean, with what these teams are fighting for, I mean, not only is it $100, not only is it to be the best team, you know, in this event, but it's also just to show up against some of these other opponents. It's not as long of a day as it was yesterday. It's still very difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for all these teams. I mean, there's still a lot of good teams in contention here. It's going to really just boil down to, you know, which one of these teams is going to be ruling that field, who's going to be setting the tone in terms of speed, pressure, and play. Because right now we have 10x, Visionaries, Pronoia, Slitherwiths was knocked out. We got Velocity, Indigo, and Monarchs. So these are all teams that struggled throughout that Swiss a little bit and they weren't absolutely like on top of their game. Tenax was only like the kind of outlier where they had one bad series, like not even a bad series. They took it to game 6 with Whiffer. So I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible thing for them, but I think that in terms of how they've been playing, Tenax has had a little bit better road. It's just the competition still really thick coming into this quarter for the finals series.
You're right about how tough the competition has been just to get to this point. Now it's about being able to play under that pressure. What also matters about these matches, not only are they all best of 7s today, now no more best of 5s, no more shorter matches, these are all much longer, much tougher. But also, tactical timeouts are now being in use. Because it's best of 7s, because we're on that final day, teams have the ability to call once per series a tactical timeout, take a break, take a breather. That's a huge deal. And matches like these, where your life is always on the line, where if you lose, you're out, those tactical timeouts can flip the series around. And for teams like Tenax Premier, like Enderman Visionaries, who both lost in the quarterfinals of their respective tournaments that qualified them into this event, Tenax Premier, even before when they were known as Incorrect White, had issues, have had issues in the quarterfinals before. Those tactical timeouts need to be put into use, and need to be used wisely because they can change the series.
Absolutely. Just taking a minute to reset yourself can be a major game changer for a lot of these teams. And that's why you see it used, well, not as much as teams could in like RLCS, but it's definitely something that's utilized when things aren't quite going right. And it's definitely a good time for them to be able to take a breather, collect themselves, talk to their coach if they need to, and getting that kind of mental reset is very important. Now, in terms of the teams that I'm personally looking out for the rest of this series coming into the finals, I'm really excited with how Affinity Sapphire played. They swept every team that they went up against, and Wet Jets definitely had a tough road against 100x Breeze and 10x Premier to get here. Now, they did have a round 1 forfeit, so that's kind of leaving a little bit of a question mark in my head. They are listed as the number 2 team in the finals at the moment off of their game differential, but like I say, when you get that round 1 forfeit, that kind of does raise a little bit of question marks in my head. I'm kind of thinking that if I had to go and say like, hey, this is the team that I think personally is going to come out on top, the way Affinity Sapphire has been playing, I think that they're the team to beat right now. And there's still a lot of time for like upsets and whatnot to happen, and it's entirely possible that any one of these teams within this top 8 bracket could certainly win. Now, we have seen a lot of adaptation and growth in these teams as the tournament has progressed. So it's going to be interesting to see where we lie in terms of the semis and honestly the winners and loser finals, because that's going to really define where that momentum is going after we get out of this quarterfinal stage, because the semis is going to be really telling on which team is playing to the best of their ability.
You're right about that. This is going to be a very important match for these teams and for the quality of play that they have. Before we even get into this, I think one more thing we should probably mention about for the Visionaries today is that they are playing with Rin in this match. That's a sub. That's their 5th player. It's not a player that they are used to playing with. It's someone who was added right before this tournament began. So the Visionaries, as if things couldn't get any tougher for them, they've already had a tough road just to get to this point. Now they've got to play at this point, and that's not really a great place to be for a team like them. They really would have loved to play with their starting roster today, but of course, able to get that to happen. Of course, we got to talk about the importance of having to play with a player like that, someone who they aren't used to, because they got to get used to Ren quickly. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna fix a mouse cord because one of my cords is literally stuck. 1 second.
Yeah, you gotta love technical issues. It happens to the best of us, and it is a little bit of a nuisance to have technical problems and things not going quite to plan. Now, you did mention that having a sub is a difficult thing to do. Now, if they're a smart team, the way that I've always played in the past is making sure that you're able to rotate players in and out so everyone kind of gets experience playing with each other. So that way, synergy and chemistry isn't necessarily a big question mark for you when you're going into a match like that. Um, Now, there has been a lot of times in the past, especially like in higher league play, you gotta acknowledge that subs can do great things. My personal one that sticks out to me like a sore thumb. I mean, I don't know how long everyone's been in the Rocket League scene or how much everyone's paid attention to RLCS, but going way back to season 2 RLCS when it was what was I can't remember the names, but when Zero subbed in at the end of RLCS 2 when man, why am I forgetting the names?
Over Zero for Flipside Tactics?
Yeah, over Zero for Flipside Tactics. Thank you. Subbed in. He was honest. It was honestly a huge question mark. Now, when you have a team like that, honestly, you're kind of expecting everything to kind of go well because you're at the same caliber. But I wouldn't really put anyone out in a bad position just because they have a sub.
I thought you said that as well. Again, that the idea that there's so much confidence that is now riding on being able to play with that kind of player. There isn't really too much pressure on them in this matchup. As again, I'm still hoping to get my mouse cord fixed. You guys can hear that dinging? That's the mouse cord. Just moving around here. As there we go. Hopefully that's somewhat fixed up. Might take a little minute. I feel so bad for these players. But again, while we sort this situation out, again, I mean, honestly, before we even go this, I feel like we should also do predictions, right? We should predict who's going to take this one, how much they're going to take it by, because this is a big match for both these teams. I mean, they both came in not immediately from their leagues. They both had to play in to get to this point. Both had a tough road, even yesterday. You see one of these teams as being that better team, being the team that will win here, BlakLightning, because with both these teams, the quality of players that they have, obviously only one of them can win, but how close do you think the series is going to be? You said it was going to be at least 6 games.
Yeah, I definitely expect it to be at least 6 games. I mean, it's really hard to say which one of these are going to come out on top. I mean, they all kind of played fairly difficult teams. You had Visionaries play against Whiffer Wet Jets, Pronoia, Sapphire, and the last game was Godfall, who are no longer in the tournament running. So they definitely had a really stacked series to go up against in the beginning. Now, they did win against Whiffer Wet Jets. They did win against HSD Pronoia, but they did not win against Affinity Sapphire, which was the 3rd matchup in round 3. Tenax Premier came in, played against Sunset Olives, Incorrect Indigo, and then lost to Whiffer Wet Jets, and then won against Team Evo. What is that team? Yeah, Team Evo Velocity, in order to advance into the finals bracket. Now, in terms of who I think had the harder bracket, I'm definitely kind of leaning towards Visionaries, just being that they immediately went up against 3 of probably the best teams in this tournament at the moment. So if I had to take a stab in the dark, I'm gonna say Visionaries are gonna take this one in game 6.
An upset call here from Lightning. I love that as well. I would actually have gone for a Tenax in this match. I thought that you said it, they had a tough road yesterday. I really like Tenax Premier. This is a team that overall has been a team that's always been fighting for that top spot. I feel like now is their time to do it. They've got a really good roster here. These 3 players on this team have been teammates for a really long time. They have not switched players on their team for months. This is a team that's been together for a very long time and have made no changes to their roster. But, of course, I feel like we should stop theorizing. We should just get right into this. Again, apologies on those delays there. But we're all good to go for our first best of 7 of the night. This is the quarterfinals. Tenax Premier next to new Visionaries. Both teams went 3-1 yesterday to get out of day 1. Now on day 2 in the quarterfinals, it's a best of 7 and a big one at that. And I think for Tenax Premier, it's their time for redemption. They got swept last Champions Cup in the quarterfinals. They don't want that to happen again. And in a match like this, it should not happen. They are the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been matches where upsets happen. And we see it a lot in Rocket League where, the script kind of gets flipped on its head midway through a match. Now, only time is going to tell which one of these teams come out on top, as the pressure from next to new Visionaries is mounting quite significantly on the blue half as Waffles pops that one into the midfield. Jeffy will pop that one back as this one careens off the ceiling. Atomic makes a read but won't be able to get it into the net. The follow-up will be there, and Atomic sneaks it in on the far post around who was sitting in there. Mystic not able to get there, and then Waffle was just out of boost and out of position. So next to new Visionary starting it off pretty good here.
Yeah, you're right about that as well, just how well things have gone for them, and of course it's Atomic. We've seen so much of the Visionaries yesterday, we already know how Atomic's been playing this event, and he is not slowing down anytime in the near future. And I think if we talk about the Visionaries, you have to talk about what Atomic did for them yesterday, because simply put, he was all over the place yesterday for the Visionaries, and that's a good thing. He was doing anything they needed, he would do it. Atomic stood up for his team, really made things work, but here goes Geo, that shot not in, still in front though. The challenge came late from Rin, but the Visionaries do escape there, and even with Atomic not really in that play, Rin's able to clean things up, and even with players like Atomic, the team that's going to win today is not going to be the team with the best players, necessarily. It probably will be, but it is more likely to be a team with the best teamwork, as that's a great pass. A demo in front, Geo with an open net, and Tenax Premier have got their first of the series.
A good read by Geo off of that 50 from Mystic, able to get that one controlled and in a position where Mystic and Waffle were able to be in advantageous areas. Mystic getting that demo to open up the space that Geo needed to make that goal. Now, we are still in a dangerous position here as Rin immediately pops one back, an immediate answer from Visionaries. And this is what I'm talking about with Visionaries. They're not a team that's going to let things slide very easily. They are a very tenacious bunch, and that's something that Tenax has to be ready for. I don't think that, like I said, just because Rin is a sub, they're any less dangerous.
As you said as well, is now Atomic. They're back by Geo. Waffles off the back wall. Mystic with a high pop. Waffles bounced away by Rin as Tenax Premier sitting on defense. Geo, who himself has been on this team the longest out of any of these three players. Again, even back during the Incorrect White days, he was part of the original roster. That was part of Tenax Premier. By Incorrect White, then becoming Tenax Premier. So when you talk about a player who's been here, been around the scene, it's been Geo. He's been here so long. And overall, his playstyle hasn't changed too much. He used to be extremely mechanical, but he's kind of toned it down a little bit. He's a little bit more of a midfield presence. Still a scary midfield player, and I think if there's anybody that can pop off, really come in clutch, Geo often is the one to do it.
Yeah, and those pop-off moments are what separates a lot of these players from each other, is just being able to be that presence on the field that you always got to be weary about. As Geo misses a shot there, goes wide. Mystic tried to redirect it, but wasn't able to get around that ball just enough, as N2 Ren will pop that one out to the side for Waffles to chase. Collects the 100 boost. Geo does get a slight 50 there, which makes it stay on the orange half for Mystic to read. A good 50 by Waffles. 2x will pop this one all the way out. Atomic waiting in the midfield will let that one go. It looks like he might have had a disconnect controller, as he's stalled out in the middle of the field, calling for the lobby restart, as Waffles gets his 50 out to the sidewall. And now the other Waffle will be looking for a shot on net. Pops this one high and above the backboard. Will be redirected away. Geo looking for a midfield pass, finds Mystic. Shot on by Waffle will be turned away by Atomic, as Rin's going to be here in the midfield. Visionaries holding strong on defense in spite of the connection issues from Atomic.
That's a good thing from the Visionaries too, to see that team is corralling together even around awkward situations. You don't really want to have a disconnect today, but these teams, you have to just play with what's given to you here. As that one bouncing in front, Waffle will clear it out, and as we get close and close to that final minute, Tenax Premier looking and trying. That's a great infield play. Waffle over the bar. In comes Mystic. Will that find the net? Waffles is waiting. And yeah, I know it's a bit confusing. We've got a Waffle and a Waffles on the field, but it's a fun matchup, and I guess a fun little rivalry to have these two players play together. We also have two Geos in this tournament as well, although the Geo from Seven Savages obviously not playing today. That team got eliminated. Now, speaking of Geo, he's gonna get that block on Atomic. Tenax Premier looking to clear it away. But the pressure is mounting as we head near and close to the final 30 seconds. And the time continues to tick off that clock.
You can see just how much pressure this Tenax squad is trying to put on the... No. I was going to say they're putting so much offensive pressure on, but they choke on defense, as that is an unfortunate touch by Geo. He tried to pop it off the crossbar and get it somewhere where one of his teammates were able to collect it. That is going to be most likely the nail in the coffin in this game one, though they do get one back, so 20 seconds remaining. They still have time to tie it up, so I may have just casted Cursed at us.
You can't curse them too much here because that's Tenax Premier, still a very, very good team. And it's still a very, very tough matchup, even for all these players, even for the skill levels they have. We are 20 seconds away from the end of game one, and Tenax Premier knocking at the doorstep. They need one more. Waffle blocked out by Rin. Mystic gets past one. No jump there from the Visionaries as Mystics with space. Time ticking away. Atomic's got the save. Waffle infield for Geo. That's a great first pop. Can they put it in? Rin's got the block. Now he just needs to hit it to the ground, and he will do so. The Visionaries, with a huge stand-up performance in game one, will start the series off in their favor.
Yeah, and that was a really smart play by Rin, knowing not to try to drag that one out into the midfield for the waiting defender. I think that was definitely the right call there in order to make sure that Tenax didn't have any extra opportunities that they didn't need, because thinking game number one, you definitely don't want to force an OT and allow that momentum to change. Visionaries will be going ahead and getting themselves reset here with the server restart, so it's definitely going to be good if they can get themselves in a more synced up position if the internet connections subside for Atomic. And that can definitely be a huge factor. Is, internet connection doesn't always want to work out for people, so getting that where it's stable and usable can definitely help a team. And I think that Tenax might have missed out on opportunity there.
They did. They definitely had an opportunity. It was not exactly the easiest game for Atomic. Apparently, he was running on ping in the multi-hundreds. So, with a player having that many issues and Into Visionary still looking this good, that issue of the quarterfinals, once again, back at Tenax Premier. This team, no matter what roster they've had, they've always had issues in the quarterfinals. It's never been easy for them to get through on these single elimination brackets. They always seem to struggle at this point. They do really well before then, and we saw it yesterday. We didn't get to see them at all on stream, but they went 3-1. They played against a lot of teams that are here today. Again, for Tenax Premier, you would think coming into this match there'd be a lot of reasons for them to start off really strong, but they haven't really done that. And that's an issue for a team like this, is that when you are playing at your best, you're gonna feel good, but in a single elimination bracket, it's such a different format. There's a lot more pressure on you. Some teams just don't do well under pressure. Maybe Tenax Premier is one of them, because once again, these quarterfinals seem to be a struggling point for them.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they weren't all quite on the same page there. They made a few errors, but that's where you take this time to kind of just chat and talk things out and get each other squared away and make sure that the mental's okay. You don't want to get tilted. You don't want to let yourselves get down. That's where you start really compiling those mistakes. When you allow yourself to get into a bad mindset, it really can affect exactly how you're playing now. And next to New Visionaries, definitely caught a break there at the end. They were getting a lot of pressure. I feel like Geo might have been able to get a goal there if he was able to get more power on his shot, but instead of that soft lob that went over the bar. Would it happen? Could it have been different? Yes, but we're already locked in with next to New Visionaries getting that game one win, and I hope to see some more adjustments out of Tenax to be able to counteract this next to New Visionaries team.
As you said, as we are finally resolving these technical problems, again, apologies on this one, as we kind of making sure that these players are all ready and all in the match. Still waiting on one more person, but again, as you mentioned as well, the Visionary side off to a good start. Game one's theirs. So at the very least, they're off to a good start. That really matters. In best of sevens like this, that first game matters because it's all about making sure you snowball and continue and build on what you've already done. The Visionaries, this is their time to build on that. Tenax Premier are now under a lot of pressure. And again, for a team that generally struggles in this position, the Visionaries have to find ways to succeed. But Gio finds Waffle. That's a great lob. And Tenax Premier, 12 seconds in, off to a beautiful start off an incredible infield pass.
Yeah, a good pancake there by Gio to pop that one back out into the middle, just slightly enough for Waffle to be able to strike that one into the back of the net. Now, next to New Visionaries did kind of lose a bit of their composure there on defense. I definitely feel like that could have been saved. But, you know, errors do happen. All you got to do is move on and say, all right, we go next. They got one goal. We can reset and go for another opportunity, as this one's going to be pushed down the field. Waffle will receive that one in the midfield. Gio makes a cut. Will catch this one, looking for a tap against the back wall. Does find it, but the other Waffles is sitting there in wait. Out to the midfield. Atomic will pop this one out for Rin. Rin not able to reach the ball. This one will careen down the field. Collected by this Tenax squad as Waffle pops this one into the net over the outstretched Atomic. Nobody in the backfield. The third man rotation was kind of lost as Waffles didn't have any boost in the tank.
And Rin was way too far gone. It's just a misrotation, a little too slow from the Visionaries. And for Tenax Premier, they were given a good amount of time in between this game 1 and game 2 to talk things out. They obviously used that time pretty wisely for being for being a team that doesn't have a coach in this top 8. A lot of this team's mental is just riding on how do they talk between each other. Well, they didn't really do much there. It's a beautiful pass. The Visionaries crossed up Tenax Premier, and that is a way to get the scoring started. Rin waffles back to Rin, and the net's there waiting for him.
Yeah, I think the key mistake there was Mystic rotating just a little bit too far towards that front post, expecting a shot close to the bar, and ended up just going too far to be able to be in position to make a save there. And they're going to be looking to get that one back, as that was just a key little error. As this one's dribbling in front of the blue net. It's going to careen out into the midfield off of the sidewall touch. A double commit on the ball will leave the side of Tenax in a little bit of disarray. Waffles looking for an opportunity. Won't be able to get the 50, though Atomic is there to cover up the hole. As Ren's going to receive this one off the sidewall. Mystic will pass down the field looking for Waffle, who is rotating out of position to the corner. Waffles popping this one into the midfield. Here comes Visionaries. A good play by Tenax to pop this one into the corner and feed this one along the wall, though. Rin is there in wait. Visionaries pass into the middle. Popped back out into the side wall. The attack and offensive pressure is still mounting for next to New Visionaries, as this one's a big clear for Tenax. Waffles not able to get this one by his other counterpart, as Rin will keep this one in the center.
And the play stays close, stays competitive, as this one falling in front. Rin will be there. Waffle touching midfield, and the Visionaries better be careful because the attack's incoming, but the shot will be saved. And it is Tenax Premier still in front, still looking. Another infield pass. Gio will score it, and Tenax Premier up by 2.
You can kind of see where the mistake happened. Waffles flipped a little bit too inwards and wasn't able to get to that ball. Just a slight misread is all it takes. And Tenax will gladly take that. Now, they're back up to a 2-goal lead, but it might not last very long, as Waffles able to strike in another one for next to New Visionaries. A good read here out of the corner of the bump, not phasing him, and a misread by Mystic allows that far post read to go in.
And it's next New Visionaries, just kind of like how Premier did last game. Always finding an answer, staying up in the play. Even when these games get tough, what is really the mark of a good team is one that not only can rely on each other, but can also, play to their own strengths, play to their own style, and find their own control, as Geofei not able to get very far in this one. Atomic clears it out, and the Visionaries marching the other way. They've done this a couple times already. Ambitious in the offense, but not succeeding here. Waffles. Gio will clear it back, and Atomic already having to play a little bit more on defense. And for Tenax Premier, not even pushing on to this one. They're letting the play come to them. The Visionaries are the ones down, and for Tenax Premier, a much more defensive feel for that midfield. I don't know if I really like that decision from Tenax for me to play so defensively because they're only up by 1 and there's still a lot of time for next new Visionaries to get a ton of opportunities.
Yeah, you got to be really careful as Rin almost got the read on that, but wasn't able to get enough of the ball for it to matter much. Waffles is going to be pushing this one down to Geo, who's going to read it out to the midfield. Atomic will break it up. That's one careening slowly towards the net. Will be saved away by Atomic. Almost an own goal, but will be able to corral that one as Ren's going to dive for this ball. Pop it out to the sidewall for Waffles to read. It's up in the air. A shot towards net will be deflected away by Geo. Now next to do Visionaries. Getting some opportunities here, but not able to punch in another goal quite yet. The opportunities are there, and Atomic will finally get the game tied up as Visionaries looking like they're getting back into a good rhythm and finding consistent opportunities to strike towards the net.
And a consistent play, a consistently tied game now. And the Visionaries with the infield passing are just looking for each other. It's all about that teamwork for the Visionaries, and that's the kind of team, that's the kind of gameplay you need to see today, because today's not a day about individuals, it's all about that team, all about working together. That pass just out wide for Mystic, and the Visionaries, man, they did not even flinch for that as Rin, flip reset, double, Geo with a huge block, follow-up shot, Mystic is waiting, and Waffle will keep this one out. Next to new Visionaries, looking for that flip reset, could not get it in the net. And that's because Geo, with a smart mind, stood in the way. This game stays tied, but from the Visionaries, they're looking even more confident to take game 2.
Now, Visionaries won't have much of an opportunity here as this one's shot back towards the midfield. They were fairly low on boost, though that problem seems to be mostly corrected for right now as Atomic's going to whiff on that one. That one's going to slowly careen towards the net off the back wall, and they get a break here as this was popped up above the bar. Waffles will feed this one out into the corner, looking to get this one away from the net. He'll pop it into the midfield. Time running out. We're looking at OT in game number 2 as it will, in fact, be the buzzer ringing before either team is able to find another offensive opportunity. So now the question is, which one of these teams is going to be able to get more offensive pressure cooking? Because the better the opportunities and the more opportunities you can see and realize, it's going to really better the odds. And if I'm Tenax, I'm definitely wanting to take this game 2 and not fall behind so far and right off the rip.
Atomic. Oh, that's a great pass in front. Rin, though, missed on it, and Mystic's got space. Here's the chance. Waffle demoed away by Rin, and for the Visionaries, again, adding in a sub. You predicted it correctly, BlakLightning. He's fitting in a lot better than I thought he would for this series. He's looking actually quite comfortable for being such, being an addition that didn't play with this team during the Rocket League Splash series. But Tenax Premier have other ideas. Geo, Atomic on the back line, keeps this one clean. Now it's Mystic into the back corner, and Tenax Premier trying to find that net, trying to close in on that space. They just can't get close enough for those chances as Geo infield pass, but a demo on Mystic. No one in there for Tenax Premier. And next to new Visionaries, we'll look for that space. We'll be able to buy it too as Waffles 33 has it. This one to go. The net's open, but Rin not able to turn on it in time. And for Tenax Premier, they're low on boost. They're looking to recover, but they're in a very sticky situation.
Sticky situation indeed, as Waffle's going to bring that one off the back wall, but Ren not able to get the read. And 10x Premier get a little bit of a break there as Geo's going to bring this one out to the midfield. He's got 2 defenders from Visionaries there, and that one's going to go above both of them off the back wall. Geo has a shot, and 10x able to clutch game number 2, and that's definitely good for them. You don't want to go down so far so quick in a series like this against Visionaries, who's a very dangerous team, all things considered. Once they get cooking and they got that chemistry rolling, they are quite threatening on the field. So they needed this win. It's a good job by Tenax in order to get themselves kind of calm down after game number 1 and get things in a more controlled fashion. There were still a few mistakes on both sides, and if those get cleaned up by either one of them, I think that both of these teams really stand a solid chance. Now, Visionaries had a lot of opportunities. I just think that they need to be a little bit more consistent and more precise with their shots, not allowing so many errant touches and wide shots and wide passes. If they're able to get that offense pressure more precise, as I was saying, they're definitely going to be looking at success here.
I think the major tip is that we just need to see more of the same from both these teams, because right now they're both playing really well. Like, admittedly, it may be a bit of a slow start for some of these players, but they're both of these teams are playing very, very well. And in the battle of the waffles in this tournament, I feel like this is the battle of the waffles. It's even. It's pretty even. We had waffles and waffle. Both of them have looked really good so far. They both have been team leaders in many aspects. As now we move into game number 3. But we'll see how things go here on DFH Stadium. In a match like this, I mean, this is going to be a huge point. In in a best-of-5 series, this game is important because it determines match point. It's still important in best-of-7s because this is really going to set the tone for the rest of the series. Both these teams have had their wins, have had their good games. Now it's about being able to put that into order and bring that consistency. That's where game 3 comes into play, and that's where these teams are here right now.
Close play by Waffle there, almost getting it into a good position to strike, but Tenax not able to follow this one up. Here comes the shot, and way above the bar for Waffle. Does get a demo, but the opportunities just aren't ringing true for Tenax. They have so much room and space, just not able to finish off that goal as Rin's going to bring this one up into the air. He did have a flip reset, just didn't get time to use it, as Gio will bring this one out to the midfield. Good 50 by Atomic. Will pop this one over to Rin. Rin will receive the ball, but gets immediately 50'd by Mystic. And it looks like next to New Visionaries, just their game plan right now is keep this from going across the midfield as much as possible, as Rin feeds this one out into the corner. Gio there. The shot from Waffle will be deflected away by Atomic, but the pressure's still there. Mystic with the follow-up from the pass. And Tenax able to get the go-ahead lead in game number 3.
And you mentioned it, that Tenax Premier could not have that midfield if the Visionaries could try their hardest, but because when they do, my goodness, things change and turn around, and the series looks a little bit different. Tenax Premier, when they're holding that midfield, they immediately go into that mode of, we're going to find each other, we're going to get passes. This team has made a statement before about passing, about ability to work as a team, and now they're making a statement by running into players of the opposing side. We saw the Visionaries use a lot of demos early on in Game 2, and we're seeing that now in Game 3, Tenax Premier is bringing their own version of the demo game as well, going for that last defender, going for that goal line, but it's not exactly necessary for them with how much consistency they have, although they've got to get the clear here. Mystic in midfield, a bit errant there. Waffles was able to challenge Gio, now Atomic to the back wall. Mystic's got to wait, because in comes Rin, infield pass, but you just need to shoot that one. One touch too many, and the Visionaries have given the ball away.
I mean, they did have their opportunity there to strike and tie the game up, but they're still on offense here. So time will tell if they're able to capitalize on this pressure, as Mystic's going to bring this one into the midfield. Waffles will pop it up above the bar to the other Waffle, who's able to get this one away from the net momentarily. Atomic gets the 50, but doesn't win it. So Tenax will have some offensive time here. Ren doing a good job faking the defender and gets the block on the shot. So next to New Visionaries, definitely looking a little bit composed. Ren with a shot on net, and there's no defender, as the boost seemed to be a little bit more important there at the time. Just not the right call for Gio.
And a mistake from Tenax Premier. That's all the Visionaries were looking for, was one mistake, one giveaway, one change of that position. And what we're seeing is Tenax Premier. If the first goal they've given up this game, it's a very low-scoring matchup, but as expected for teams that are adapting this well to each other. Mystic, bunked out by Atomic. The Visionaries, this is really their big chance. Reminder that the winner of this match will play the winner of Infinity Sapphire in the upper bracket match, taking on, I'm trying to remember who they're playing against. Team Evo Velocity, there you go, as Visionaries got another one. Rin's got his second. Tenax Premier have not been able to answer to Rin's attacks, and for good reason, because when you jumped up this fast, not many players are going to beat you.
Yeah, and Rin has been very dominant coming in as that sub. It's really good to see that he's able to keep that level of gameplay up with the rest of the Visionary squad. So that's definitely a very comforting thing to see out of this team, as this one's going to careen off to the side. Waffle not able to get the read, though. Mystic will get the follow-up. The demo is on, but the shot is not. So Visionary is getting a breath of air as this one also popped towards net, but Geo not able to find his mark. Waffles will win this 50, stays neutral though for Mystic to read. Out to the midfield, nobody in net. Geo will have an easy read, and Tenax will tie this one back up. Now, one thing I do want to touch on briefly is that Visionaries did lose to Affinity Sapphire before, so they're definitely vying to win this one. If Sapphire and Visionaries go up against each other again today, they're definitely looking to get the revenge.
Yeah, I mean, revenge is a big story of today. So many of these teams have seen each other, have played each other. They may have to do it all over again, but in a much more important, much bigger aspect of this one. Because it's single elimination, you lose, you're out. Whatever happened yesterday doesn't matter at this point for all these teams. It's all about how you play today, how you play when the lights are on, when the pressure's high, and when that $100 prize pool is up for grabs. Next to noon, nearly found the net off the corner. Now it's Atomic, but Tenax Premier playing patient, maybe a little too patient there. Waffles, Atomic, the shot not made. And Tenax Premier will be breathing a sigh of relief. That could have been a lot more dangerous had next to new Visionaries recognized the opportunity earlier.
And that's going to be an opportunity that they're going to wish they capitalized on. We did see a couple shot opportunities not realized for next to new Visionaries, and that could really come back to kick them in the rear, as Atomic will get a beautiful 50 to pop this one down the field. Rin looking for the redirect, does find it though. Mystic is there in the defensive net. Won't be able to find a goal yet as Geo pops this one middle. Mystic will dive for it. It is high, and Atomic not able to get to it as he delayed his defensive jump there a little bit too late and won't be able to go up for that one. And Tenax puts themselves in a good position here. This is what you want to see if this, after game number one, Tenax needs this momentum, and if they're able to keep applying this pressure like they have been, Visionaries are in a dangerous spot.
And yeah, they're playing with fire when you go down the series. This lays Atomic! Oh, that should have gone on target. Missed the net completely from so close. Tenax Premier gonna be thanking their lucky stars. Somehow that doesn't go in against them because he was right in front of the net. There is no reason Atomic should have missed that opportunity, and yet he has. And yet, next to new, need to find another chance. They can't think too much about the past. It's all about the now. Rin can't get that touch. Mint Mango Waffle clears. Atomic in the midfield. Waffle's waiting. Geo to goal. Saves away. Next to new Visionaries look to keep it up, but that won't happen. Tenax Premier, their second straight win in a row, and now they take the lead in the series.
This is big for Tenax. They're going to want to build upon this. Visionaries having some more of those issues that they did yesterday where they're not finding their shots, they're not being precise, and the ball's just going wide. That's something they need to really bite down on and make sure that they're not missing those opportunities, because they've really had time and ample opportunity in order to put themselves ahead in this game, not allow that game to get away from them, because they really did. They should have had so many shots on net that were converted into goals, and that's just not what you want to see. Because after their Pronoia match, we were looking at them like, okay, this is a team that really came in as a question mark, and it was like, wow, they were playing phenomenally. They were making their opportunities, they were getting the good stops on defense, and I want to see more of that next to new Visionaries team that we saw in that game against Pronoia. And it just kind of seems like maybe that game just like they lost that synchronicity that they had.
Yeah, maybe they lost a lot of the aspects of what made them so scary in that first game, but Tenax Premier is improving every single time. And as we move into Game 4, as the series continues onward, we've got more for you all here. As apologies on this one here. Seems like, there we go. We've right back in it here for Game number 4. The pressure's on for these players. It's all about playing well here for Tenax Premier. Up in the series, but they gotta hold it, and that's not an easy thing to do. The Visionaries have been knocking at the front doorstep, and Atomic, waking up from his slumber, has scored first.
We definitely need to see Atomic making those precise strikes towards the net, and that's a good start for Visionaries. You want to build upon this momentum a little bit more, though, as we still have that big question mark of whether or not they're going to be able to stay consistent through this game 4. This is a big one for them. If they drop this one, that's it. There's no coming back from that, and they definitely don't want to allow Tenax to bring this one to overtime, as I feel like that might be dangerous in of itself. As Mystic's going to bring this one for a shot opportunity, does get deflected away. Rin will bring this one down the field with Atomic in tow behind him, though it is deflected down the field. Now we have Etch-a-Sketch subbing in, so it won't be Waffles playing this time around. So their second sub now playing, as maybe one definitely worked out for them, as Rin makes the stop on the goal line. Waffle bring this one out to the midfield, looking for the demo. Won't be able to find Atomic, who brings this one out, but only to be 50'd by Mystic. The shot on by Geo goes just wide, but the read isn't there for Atomic, and Geo forces the own goal to tie the game back up.
And it is definitely a forced own goal because Geo had that net. Atomic had to do something drastic. Unfortunately, running into Geo isn't really the right answer there. And that is a goal back for Tenax, and of what we've already seen from this side, I don't think I'm all too surprised to see them find ways to be successful. As Waffle now, leaving it out for Mystic. Tenax Premier. Mystic, yet another chance to find a play. Looking infield for Waffle, but will be pinched wide, and next to Visionaries still struggling just to get through the midfield. They've had issues with the midfield all match long, and it is still continuing. They're not winning that midfield by any means. Tenax Premier is beating them there, and next to Visionaries, without that midfield control, they're always going to be at a disadvantage in that side of the field.
Absolutely, and that was a big part of the match against Pronoia, was that midfield presence. This one's going to careen up above the back wall, and the shot is there, but a save by Rin keeps the game tied. Geo looking to add to the opportunities, though Rin with a quick turnaround will be able to pop the one away from danger just momentarily. Now Rin again called upon, as Etch-a-Sketch is sitting in net low on boost. Won't be able to get this one cleared just yet. Rin missing this, but the shot isn't there. Waffle just wide. Tenax piling on the opportunities as Mystic takes a shot down the Waffle, and the 50 from Atomic will keep this one alive for Visionaries. No, they are playing a little bit dangerous. It seems like the rotations may be falling apart. A good 50 will buy them a little bit of time. Tenax looking to get this one back off of their side of the field, as the 50 from Etch-a-Sketch won't be one. Waffle down the field for Geo. Geo off the back wall. Here comes the follow by Mystic. And again, Tenax not able to find the net quite yet.
And the pressure still mounting, still ever growing. Tenax Premier, can this be their chance? 2 minutes left. Neither team finding that net, but Tenax has been far closer. Now double commits. That back line's open. Geo has missed it. No, he has got it. All right then. Geo didn't miss the open net. A double commit from the Visionaries and an unforced goal. Tenax Premier have been waiting, and they'll take the opportunity.
I don't know if calling in Etch-a-Sketch was necessarily the correct call here. Waffles was by no means playing poorly. I think that subbing in for this game might have been the incorrect call, though this still remains to be seen. We still have plenty of time for next to new Visionaries to prove that point wrong. Rin certainly playing well, but you know, we gotta see a little bit more consistency still out of Visionaries. This one's gonna careen slowly into the air. Waffle will read this one down the field for Tenax. Off of the corner, does win the 50 against Etch-a-Sketch. Both Rin and Atomic double committing yet again, leaving an open gap in the defense. Rin not able to get that one. Geo with the follow-up, and a missed touch will be capitalized by Tenax. And again, the inconsistencies and mistakes are piling up against Visionaries with time running out. They need to clutch up and get things rolling in the correct direction soon.
I'm not in their favor right now. Tenax Premier less than 90 seconds away from securing match points. And in a best of 7 like this, they'd be up in a pretty heavy lead. They'd be in a huge position. Again, this team did not make it out of the quarterfinals last Champions Cup, back when they were under incorrect white. What a huge moment this would be for them, but that's a mistake! Oh, what a save from Waffle! Atomic shot straight at her, though, and X and new Visionaries will need another chance. Rin kept away by Geo. And with time running low, Tenax Premier just playing for space, playing for control, playing for the demos. Mystics miss net. But the Visionaries, still the team fighting in, but Tenax Premier hold the ball. Mystic forces 2 to go. Now in open space, Geo didn't get a very good jump on this, but he's got a drop down pass. Waffle, this one doubled it in. Tenax Premier, that's gotta be it for them. Game 4 has gotta be won by now.
33 seconds left. You're hoping for a miracle if you're Visionaries. They might want to make use of that tactical timeout and maybe just take a minute to breathe and talk and get themselves calmed down, because right now, as it kind of sits, you know, you gotta allow yourselves a little bit of room here. If you're Visionaries, you're not making the correct plays. You're kind of letting yourselves get a little bit razzled and just not quite making the touches you need. And those double commits are certainly compiling into a list of issues for Visionaries. We wind down to the final 10 seconds here. Tenax still holding pressure quite strong against this next to new Visionary squad. This one's going to feed out into the middle. A good block by Atomic, but that won't matter as Tenax Premier will win game number 4 here. We have game point for Tenax Premier, and I mean, something definitely needs to change here if you're Visionaries. You got a list of issues. You got consistency problems. You got some errant shots going wide, and you got double commits out time and time again between Rin and Atomic and Etch-a-Sketch and Atomic, whoever it may be. Just a good call for the timeout here by Visionaries just to kind of talk and get themselves back on the correct page.
Yeah, it's all about being able to be on that same page to reset reset the other team's momentum. They have called the timeout for next to new Visionaries. I think to the surprise of no one, they've called the timeout. I mean, if there's any time to do it, this would be the time to do it. Match point is against them. The pressure is on them. They are going to have an extra minute to talk things out, to talk to each other, get an idea of what the next game's going to be like. Again, it means they have 2 minutes in between the game now. So even though it's only 1 extra minute, a lot of time to talk, and that again, as I said, can change the series. So for next new Visionaries, they've got time to talk about this. But for what we've seen already from the Visionaries, it hasn't been a bad performance from them. I just think they might be overthinking it, and I do agree with you. What we saw last game, Etch-a-Sketch was not the right answer. I think they overthought it. I liked that first roster they played. It was a good roster. It kept things close. But with what we have seen out of the Visionaries, I just think they're overthinking this thing. I want to see them go back to basics, take things simply, because what has worked for them have been midfield passes. The only thing they are struggling with is winning the midfield, getting that ball out, and once they do, though, they're going to be in a good position. They just need to be confident in themselves and not think too heavily.
Exactly, and making sure that they maintain that midfield pressure is something that's going to really help them as well. We didn't really see that in the last 2 series where they're just compiling the touches, keeping that ball from crossing that midfield line. And, it's definitely looking like the missing presence of Kobadija is something that they're missing at this moment. He did add a certain, just wow factor to the team where he was there on defense. He was making beautiful stops. Rin is a really good addition to this squad, even though he is a sub. He is playing phenomenally, and he is filling that role quite well. But, you're missing that main roster squad, like you said earlier, into this series. And that can definitely be a point of contention for a lot of teams. Now, I think that we need to see those mistakes and errors kind of be whittled down to a minimum for Visionaries and not allow Tenax Premier too much time and presence with the ball. Maybe just think about it a little bit, try to get some demos and allow themselves to, get the ball rolling, so to speak.
Well, again, I think that's well played. Yeah, we want to see, this next to new side pull things together, and I think they were listening to us because they brought back that original roster. But while we're talking about this, we've had 2 other results come in from around the league. I know you haven't seen the bracket, I have though. One match, Affinity Sapphire, the number 1 seed, coming into tonight, taking on Team Evo Velocity. What do you think the scoreline was for that, BlakLightning?
Oh, if I had to guess, man, I would bet that Affinity Sapphire won it in 4-0. I mean, they're a really good squad, but you know, anything can happen. Now, you did mention that we had multiple scorelines coming in. I don't know who else had finished, but I'm really hoping that, you know, the teams that I'm really hoping to see go through are Affinity Sapphire, Whiffer Wet Jets, Visionaries, and Pronoia. I think those are the teams that had the most standing here in this series.
Well, I will say this: you're already not doing off to a good start. It was actually Team Evo Velocity who just won 4-1 in that series. They just took down the #1 seed in this bracket, which I think is a huge accomplishment for them. But on the other side, the other match that ended with for Wet Jets, who took on Incorrect Indigo, I believe. What do you think that series would be like, as next new Visionaries looking to try to even things up 1-1? They are on offense right now, but next Premier will clear it away. So again, while we keep talking about this, who do you think won between Wet Jets, who are our second seed, who then took on the 7th seed in Incorrect Indigo? Wait a second goes in. Before we talk about that result, we've got to talk about this one. A whiff on the corner. Mystic allowing Tenax Premier to go up by 2.
Speaking of whiffs, my honest prediction for that game between Indigo and Whiffer Wet Jets would have been Whiffer Wet Jets, as you know, they were playing phenomenally throughout this series so far. So if I had to take a stab, I would have said probably the Whiffer Wet Jets, just because Indigo has been playing rather inconsistent against their matches, where they had a very difficult road to get to this top 8 spot, just like a lot of these teams have. You know, next to new Visionaries losing so far in this very crucial match for them, as Tenax just keeping with that rhythm, keeping with that offensive pressure, not allowing next to new Visionaries too many prime opportunities, as this could be one, though Atomic is taken out of the play, so is Mystic, so we're down for 2v2 for a few seconds here. But a quick get back from Mystic and a good spawn will enable Tenax to start compiling more pressure against his Visionary squad. A long clear, Ren in tow, looking for a redirect, gets it off the wall, won't be able to find the double though. Atomic will follow, and a wide touch will land to Geo. Tenax getting this one cleared out to the midfield. A 50 won't go the way of Visionaries, as this one's down the field. Geo with the shot goes a little high, and Visionaries get a break here as we slowly creep towards his halfway point.
Well, I will say, to answer your to tell you are now 1-1. Whiffer Wet Jets did win the series 4-1. The inconsistencies were incorrect. Ingo, as you mentioned, following them even into today, as that almost was an inconsistent touch there. Waffle didn't want to give anything to Atomic. Now gets through that play. Waffle's awkward. Geo looking for nets and for goal free. Tenax Premier came off a tactical timeout break. You know, maybe a little cold, but I honestly would say they haven't even come off cold, because they've come right back into it, and for the Visionaries, they are once again struggling to win the midfield, and that's where Tenax Premier is taking over.
Yeah, too many rotational mistakes coming out from Visionaries. You got a little over 2 minutes left on the clock, so there's still plenty of time for them to mount a comeback, but with the way that things are going, it's not looking great for the side of Visionaries, as this one's a shot on net, deflected away by Atomic. Another one to follow up. Rim's going to make a stop on the goal line. He's going to have to push this one out to the side, though Geo does get a piece of it, pops out to the middle. The shot will not be realized for Tenax. Pass by Rin over into the midfield, won't be read by Atomic, as this one's down the field. Geo will grab this one and pop it out to the midfield to Waffles. Waffles to Mystic. Won't be able to get any pressure here for the side of Visionary. Here comes a shot. Geo does read it, though it's not enough, so Atomic will eke in a goal for Visionaries, and this could be the start of some momentum for them, which they really need to start compiling and really start forcing the questions here towards the side of Tenax.
This is it for next new Visionaries. They've got to score 2 more goals. No questions asked. If they don't, their run in the Champions Cup 2 is over. As Geo almost in, Rins kept it out, and everybody pushed up for Tenax. They will get back in time. And for the Visionaries, who are getting removed off the field, life's getting a little bit more difficult for them. Time running low. Rin wants that chance in front, cleared away. Now the Visionaries are racing back. Rin with a race to the ball. Geo right behind him. And Tenax Premier holding boost. Rin Just trying to hold that possession. Does get around Geo. Now one left in Waffle, but that play will not phase her at all. And the Visionaries continue to play up on offense. Infield play. Mystic. Backflip on the spot will leave this one for Waffle. Mystic. In comes Waffles, but Tenax Premier just playing for time, playing for space, and the Visionaries, they're just playing for something, anything to go their way.
Here comes Waffles on the attack. Won't be able to get it by Mystic, though. A pass from Atomic to Rin will clear this one down the field towards the back wall as Geo gets a soft pop shot towards the net. Will be received by Mystic. Final 20 seconds on the clock here in this deciding match for Tenax, and Visionaries not able to get the pressure that they're looking for. Ren will read this one down the field. They need to score with time left on the clock. A redirect from Ren will get it moving in the right direction, but it's cleared right back. Final 5. Visionaries looking at a defeat here, and time will run out, so Visionaries will be eliminated from the Champions Cup. An unfortunate loss from the side of Visionaries, but a very hard-fought victory for Tenax. If you had to say, who's your standout player here for the side of Tenax?
Ooh, that was a tough one to say. Who's the player that I really liked seeing in this game? Honestly, I've got to say, I liked what I saw from Waffle in this series. She had as usual, she's such a formidable player, kind of sitting in that midfield, playing that kind of, controlled midfield style, but she does it very, very well. And that's the thing that she did today. She played her midfield style. She didn't do anything crazy, didn't force anything out of that team either, and that's a big thing. She allowed herself to be successful, and in many ways, that's exactly what they're looking for. As that result's seen its end, and so has our last quarterfinals. HSG Pronoia are now the only team left from the RLSS in this bracket. They gotta go up against Whiffer Wetjets, but for us, we've got an ATS versus ATS matchup. Team Evo Velocity, Tenax Premier, we're guaranteed at least one ATS team in the grand finals, and this is a stark contrast to the last event that we did, where it was RLSS all in the top 4 spots. So the roles have changed. It's ATS now who are leading.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that you're going to be happy to see. I mean, as a very big proponent in the ATS series, I bet that makes you happy, Sporty, to see your teams kind of force out RLSS. Now, all these teams that have come in here have played absolutely phenomenal. And, there have been a series of upsets along the way. I don't think a lot of people expected Team Evo to strike down Affinity Sapphire, myself included. I would have thought that Affinity Sapphire would have had that. Evo didn't have the best Swiss stage, and, definitely seemed to have turned it around. Now, 10X is going to test their ability here, as they have been on an absolute rip through this entire Swiss stage. And, taking down Visionaries will be a very good momentum shift for them going into this semifinal stage. Pronoia, Whiffer Wetjets, that's going to be a clash of the Titans. That's definitely going to be something where you're looking at that match and you're going to go, wow, I'm really not sure which one of these teams is going to win. It could go either way. Now, Pronoia, they've had some issues, but it's never been major. Same thing with Whiffer Wetjets. They've both respectively dropped a series, but neither here nor there. Both teams very formidable opponents. If I'm gonna have to make a prediction on these series right now with the way Tenax is playing, I think that they're gonna win this against Evo. As for the other series with Whiffer Wetjets and HSG Pronoia, I'm gonna stick to my guns here and say that Pronoia is gonna come out on top.
Well, I'd love to say he wants that ATS RLSS Grand Finals, as do I. But for all of you out there, you gotta wait a little bit long before you get to the semifinals. Again, thank you so much for joining us, for joining here at BlakLightning once again. It's been an amazing time. But of course, before you leave BlakLightning, is there any last things you want to say? Any final messages?
Well, I mean, just best of luck to all these teams. Thank you for everyone that has come out and played in this series. Big shout out to all the casters. Everyone's done phenomenal up to this point, and I'm only expecting good things going down the road here. I mean, we got our other stream running. I believe it's TommyBuckets going to be on that opposite stream. So make sure you guys, if you're tuning in here, have his stream up on another monitor screen. Doesn't matter. Just make sure you're watching both of those series, because these are both going to be neck and neck coming into this finals. So you definitely don't want to miss either of those. But I think that's everything that I have to say. It's been an honor being here. I've had fun. I love watching these matches. So best of luck to you, Sporty. Best of luck to everyone else that's going to be on the casting and on the field. So I'm going to sign off for the night. You all have a good one.
As you said, thank you so much for joining. And for all of you, stick around. Our next match is one of the semifinals. Team Evil Velocity, Tenax Premier. We'll be back very soon. Well, I'm gonna bring it in, but actually, unless you want to, but I was gonna do it because I was gonna list all the. Welcome to the semifinals of the ATS RLSS Champions Cup 2. Joining me now is Fox, and we're sticking around with Tenax Premier as they take on Team Evo Velocity. I know, Fox, you got to see HSG Pronoia win against ODU Monarch Silver. Now you get a match up here in the semifinals. But really, both semifinals, we've got to talk about them because, let's be honest, both of these matchups are stacked.
Yeah, a lot of exciting action in the top 8. That's something that we definitely figured would happen. I mean, yesterday the Swiss was already enjoyable as heck, and there was a lot of intense matches going on. But here in the top 4, of course, number 1 seeds slugging at it each other over on the other side. Something you expected, and over here you have nothing to blink on either. Evo Velocity, Tenax Premier, definitely 2 of the stronger teams ready to punch their ticket to take a shot at the grand final.
And what's fun about this is that for Tenax Premier, they've never been to a grand finals in the ATS in any ATS division. This could be a huge first for them. Evo Velocity, though, as a name, have also done really well, both from ATS. Evo Velocity were in the last grand finals for the ATS Cup Season 2, losing to Whiffer Wet Jets. So it's ironic because if Whiffer Wet Jets wins their match, then we would have kind of a reverse of what we saw last time around. We've had a lot of weird reversals, but what we saw last time around in the grand finals of the last Champions Cup were the Surge Cup teams from the previous last year's Surge Cup grand finals. We may get that here in this one, but they gotta take on Pronoia. That's on TommyBuckets' stream, so if I want to go say hi to Tommy, he's got that match. She'll be joining us later tonight, but for us, we're here in the semifinals for a match I think that everybody should be excited for because we just got to see Tenax Premier, but if you know anything about Team of Velocity, yesterday was not a great day for them, but this is a team that's extremely high rank and is good enough to win this match. I mean, they're a good enough team to win the whole thing, and they're the 8th seed in this tournament because of just how high ranked they are. You can never really count them out.
No, you can't. And Karma, who I streamed Team Evo Velocity yesterday, Karma was in the stream chat. They were subbing out yesterday, so they are actually hopping into the gameplay today. So, you know, it's always nice to get the rotations going. And then over on the other side, Tenax Premier, that's a pretty stacked roster, honestly. There's a lot of talent there both ways. I mean, I could easily see this series going 6-7, but I definitely don't think we're going to see a sweep with the amount of quality and sort of pedigree that these two teams have.
You said as well, there's so many good players here. This is not going to be... We have not actually had a sweep yet today, and rarely do you ever get sweeps in a tournament like this with how closely ranked these teams are. But Evo Velocity have got to be a scary team to watch out for. While Tenax Premier are the favorites, I would consider Evo Velocity a heavy shoe into that grand finals because they're good enough to do it. They're a really high ranked team. They're a really high seeded team. They have reasons to be here. In fact, in our top 4, the only team that has not made it to grand finals yet in any tournament and in any of the previous 2 leagues is Tenax Premier. Every other team, at the very least, made it to the grand finals in their respective leagues. So that should tell you about the quality of players we have, the quality of teams we have, and the quality that Tenax Premier has been playing today, that they are in this top 4, and that they do deserve it. They played really well last series, but they're going up against the runners-up in the last ATS Cup Season 2, and then on the other side of the bracket, it's both the teams that won. So we've got quite a matchup here for everybody to watch out for, because it's Tenax Premier, Evo Velocity. Before we get into this, Fox, really just, you know, we've seen on the side of Tenax Premier, Waffle really shine on her side, but for Evo Velocity, you've gotten to see them a little bit. Who on that team should we be focusing on?
If we go anything based on yesterday, it was Fresh Mode for me. The speed that Fresh Mode played with yesterday when it came to not only his on-the-ball play, but his off-the-ball play. He always seemed to put himself in a place to succeed, whether it's contributing to a goal or stopping the other team from making their return upfield. So for me, Fresh is definitely going to be an interesting difference maker. Also get to see, you know, the brand new rotation now that they brought in Karma as their sub. So get to see a new roster, see how they work with each other.
Well, we'll get to see a lot of things here. But what we're most importantly going to be getting to see is one of these teams secure their spot in the grand finals. Team Evo Velocity on the blue, the 8th seed, having just taken down the incredible Affinity Sapphire They go up against Tenax Premier, who has not been to a Grand Finals yet in ATS or RLSS history. So for both these teams, a huge moment, a huge time to show up. This is a best of 7, and this is the semifinals. One of these teams will see themselves not only get a part of the prize pool if they win here, but also guarantee themselves a chance at that first place finish. Tenax Premier want to be off to the early start as well. The early shot coming through, but not strong enough from Geo. Tenax Premier just warming up to the situation, and with time, expect this team to control that midfield.
And you can see a couple little rotational errors, just Merritt hopping on the backboard just a little bit too far forward. So obviously the nerves starting to set in. Obviously it's a new series, and the grand finals are on the line. On this side of the bracket, like you said, it's kind of like two teams that have something to prove, runners up, and a team that's never been here before. So both teams looking to try and, get that next step. And this is the next step, but they have to get through each other first, and you got to settle into the series to do that.
And Waffle's already doing that, and I mentioned about her influence. She's been the player for Tenax Premier tonight. And once again, she gets her team on the board early as just an errant mistouch from Karma and Waffle. I don't know if she could believe it or not, but that ball just kind of fell in front for her, and she will not be against free gifts, that's for sure.
Nope. You like to dunk Waffles in syrup, and Waffle likes to dunk that ball right over Fresh Mode into the net. Good play from her. Nice early start, and it's right back the other way. It's Fresh Mode, who I talked about just a little bit. He's on the side of the net, lurking. Merritt spots him, and that's a beautiful redirect sporty to tie this game.
And it's Team Evil Velocity with their longtime captain, Frezzo, him and Merritt. We talk about the, Tenax Premier team being one of a lot of chemistry, but you got Frezzo and Merritt on Team Evil Velocity. Those two have been teammates for about as long, I would have to say, as Tenax Premier has been a team together, so we're talking about a scary duo. These guys, not only are they just, they know each other, they're also extremely high ranked. I think Team Evil Velocity are going to hit into that GC free rank nowadays, so they're one of the scariest teams coming into this tournament, just due to the fact that they are so high ranked. But of course, rank doesn't really matter unless you can, put that to work. And Viva Velocity, they didn't do so well yesterday. They forfeited their first round, and it just felt like it kind of fell apart for them at times yesterday. They played well, but not well enough, and had to sneak out a win and get in round 5. They've really got to do a lot better here, because if they lose, if they falter, Tenax Premier will beat them.
Absolutely. A few players kind of hopping in and out of the defensive structure there. Luckily for Evo, they will escape harm, send the ball back downfield. But, I mean, some of those chances there for Tenax Premier, they didn't have the boost to put shots on. That's going to be a shot saved. But they didn't have the boost to put those shots on. They ended up sending Evo Velocity jumping. So, eager to try and make saves. Some fakes might be something that we see from Tenax Premier adding into the strategy.
Evo, midfield again here. The Velocity side, the only team playing in this event from Team Evo! And they're gonna get a second goal! Merritt's on the end of it. Team Evo Velocity, halfway through Game 1, have now just stormed in, taken the lead, and have left Tenax Premier with nothing in their hands.
What a touch from Fresh, sending that ball up off the backboard. He needed a finishing touch, and Merritt was there in between the two defenders. Threaded the needle, and they got the lead.
Tenax from the back corner is Geo. Karma already up earlier. Evil Velocity is not going to let Tenax Premier go for any of those mechanical plays that they sometimes like to resort to from that midfield. I mean, this is a very mechanical team out of Evil Velocity. This is a team that knows how to defend solo plays. It's just not going to work for Tenax Premier. What's going to work, though, are those passing efforts as Waffle connects. Merritt got the block. Geo into the corner, now looking midfield. Cleared away. Mystic pinched with Karma. Merritt. Waffle can't get very far as Tenax Premier waiting in net. They can't wait too long, though. They've got to get that ball out. They've got to find chances. Evo Velocity showing that just like how Tenax Premier has played, they too can also win the midfield. It's a much tougher matchup for Tenax Premier because it's against a team who can play the midfield. And Evo Velocity, they've got to get up. They're going to get upfield. They're going to get another chance for Tenax Premier. They've got to find that control because late in this game, that's going to be the difference maker as Merritt's shot pinged off that right side post. Could have very well have been a 2-goal lead for Evo Velocity.
Waffle's got a little swagger in her step, keeping that ball in deep. That's who you really want to try and put the ball in front of right now if you're a Tenax player. Waffle's definitely been someone who's been noticeable. Another good 50. That's going to give a opening for Jeffy. The shot, though, didn't come. Fresh has got the collection off the turnover, picks the pocket, puts it home.
And it's just an easy pick away for Fresh. So that pass from Geo was not very well made. I mean, it was a good idea to go for Mystic, but in a position like that, if he doesn't put that pass right on Mystic, it's going to get dunked away. Even Velocity were waiting right in front of the nets. They had ample boost. So a touch like that from Geo is just going to make things a whole lot worse for Tenax Premier. And Evo Velocity off to an incredible start as now to look for yet another goal. Frezzo completes his hat trick. And Evo Velocity storming game 1 and absolutely butchering Tenax Premier.
Just another really good, solid, fast challenge out of Evo right there. You know, you had players, you had numbers back for Tenax, but unfortunately for them, that dunk's just so good. It sends the ball up with enough power off the ramp near the top of the ceiling, and that is right into Fresh for the hat.
Awful. Actually gets around one there, but Evo Velocity again just not letting those aerial plays breathe. And for Tenax Premier, man, it's something that they've run so heavily. They want to be in the air. They want to be able to not just, you know, make something other than their passing plays work, because they know if they only go for passing plays, teams are going to recognize that. It's going to become one-dimensional. It's going to be relatively easy to block, but Team Evo Velocity have air superiority. There's no one in net there. It's a wide-open shot, and for a player who's not seemingly cannot miss, that is about as easy as it gets for Fresno. Everybody from 10X navigated towards that left post, and no one covered the nets.
Big time bump there on Jeffy as well. Would have been back for that save, but after they got escorted right out of the goal, it was pretty much wide open. And Evo almost seemingly making no mistakes here. It would be great to see a goal for Tenax Premier in the final seconds of this game. Looks like game 1's pretty secure, but a goal for the road would do wonders for the confidence headed to game 2.
Waffle. It's a big touch. Frezzo. Geo. Frezzo staying close to it, but it's Mystic. And 10X Premier, who have just been given a reality check here in game 1. That last series was great against end-to-end, but this is a much tougher opponent in Team Evo, and they're letting them know. Merritt's shot kept away. Frezzo walking in. That one found the front. But Gio keeps it out, and I think he's going to want to let this one ground. 10X Premier have been completely dismantled in game 1. Team Evo Velocity off to an incredible start.
Absolutely. That game turned from pretty even, seemingly, and then it became the Fresh show there. 4 goals on 9 shots, almost 50% accuracy, and you can't use any of that to discredit Merritt's effort either. A goal and 3 assists for them. Karma rounding out that roster. A potent offense from them. 16 shots to 3, Sporty. The shot differential was disgusting.
It was very one-sided, and for 10X Premier again, it feels like it's ATS Season 2 all over again. In many ways, they didn't win there, but sorry, ATS Season 1 all over again, where they made it to the semifinals in that event. That's the whole thing we're seeing as well here out of these teams. That's the whole thing we're seeing out of 10X Premier, is that they need to find a way to dig deep, because this is a tough team. But let's not sugarcoat this. Evo Velocity are one of the highest ranked teams in this tournament. They are a team that has hit GC3. For a team like 10X Premier, who made it to the semifinals, only to lose to higher ranked teams. Back in season 1, they did it again. They lost to Slitherwifts in the semifinals, 4-1. They don't want to have that repeat. They've got to be able to find something different, something creative, if they're going to beat Evo Velocity. Because right now, what they're doing is just trying to brute force it, but Evo Velocity's rank is going to beat them on that.
Absolutely, and I liked what 10X Premier did at the end of that game. Everybody, including me and you, Sporty, we were all readied up. We like to ready up to let the teams decide when they want to go in. 10X took all 60 seconds to talk things over, trying to right the ship, so it seems like they are pretty locked in, and they're using all of the resources available, kind of a little bit of a mini timeout in between the 2 games.
Tactical timeout, obviously, not in use yet, but 10X Premier are not a team that is afraid to use it. They've used it very often. Obviously, though, they don't want to use it here. Gio made that a little bit too close for comfort, saved it off his own bar. 10X Premier will clear it away as Waffle trying to get things going. Karma. Oh, it's a great touch. Frezzo's wait there for it. Merritt. Oh, that shot needs to be better. Evo Velocity walked in on the nets, couldn't find the nets, and 10X Premier aren't going to let him get away with that. Gio, Karma, and only muster a single touch as Mystic now trying to fall on top of Merritt. It's an infield play. Waffle to the back wall. Frezzo's got to be careful, but so are 10X Premier. They all pushed up, and it's an open net. Frezzo will take it, and he scores for the 5th time this series.
Things were looking good for 10X Premier until they weren't. They had the bump play, they had the numbers, but unfortunately for them, the third unfortunately got beat there, and it is a wide open red carpet runway for Fresh So to walk that first goal of the game right into the net.
And Tenax Spam, you can tell, again, one of the biggest things I commented on for them on in last series was that they didn't force anything against end-to-end with all the pressure they had. You can start to see they're starting to force things in now. They're starting to force on offense, starting to feel the pressure to send everybody upfield. And Evo Velocity, they're allowing Tenax Spam to play right into that play style as Mystic shot will be kept away. And you can tell for Tenax that, again, that goal, every goal really matters for them, that they're looking to do anything they can to get upfield, but they've got to be careful not to overcommit, because that will cost them. In the end, it will cost them. Overcommits almost never work out for teams, and for Tenax Premier, they can't afford to do one here as Gio's shots not good enough, and for Tenax Premier, still searching for that power on these opportunities. They just haven't been able to hit the net with enough speed as that one. Great pass! Mystic! Oh, Merits with a huge acrobatic stop. Evil Velocity keep the lead somehow. What a great save.
This is what you like to see. Tenax Premier starting to come to life. I've seen Mystic forcing their way through. I mean, just brute force bumping, trying to disrupt right there. You got to see it on your screen. Fresh got bumped. And, you know, Mystic throwing themselves in, and some passing plays starting to get a little bit more creative. It seems Tenax starting to get a little bit of life breathed into their Rocket League.
But can they get the goal? Gio dunks out and Merits. Tenax Premier have been holding on to offense for quite a long time by now. Chances have got to start falling soon. Waffle, that's gone the complete wrong direction. Karma's got boost, and he's got the dunk too. Evil Velocity flipping this one around. Frezzo, this one's to net. Waffle will clear. Mystic will not get on the end of it. And Merits will allow Evil Velocity some time upfield. That shot could have been better, but Tenax Premier just want this one out. Waffle dribbles it under one. Karma, last one back for Evil Velocity, but it's not going to be an easy play for him as he's stuck in the corner. Tenax just sitting on top of this. Where's that opening that they're looking for? Waffle. Only as far as Karma. Mystic. Using a little bit of help from that sidewall, but Karma again waiting back. Gotta be careful though! He's been eliminated from the play! 2 straight demos for Tenax Premier. And with a wide open net, Waffle will put in the equalizer.
Mystic goes bang, bang, and once you lose 2 defenders, it's hard to find that third man back. Mystic deserves all the credit for that goal. Good for Waffle to remain composed and just simply have to put that ball in. That's the bumping play that we've been seeing from Mystic. They seem to be on fire right now.
As they're looking at the ceiling, Tenax Premier, it hasn't been efficient offense. I think we can both agree on that. They have had many opportunities where it just feels like their shots haven't been good enough, but their defense has definitely played better. They're holding things together. That rotation is really staying strong, quite impressively too, against the team that is so good at staying up high in that pressure. And Evil Velocity, they're not having an easy time getting those chances themselves. For them, it's a lack of shots. For Tenax Premier, it's a lack of good shots. And well, it's just a battle of who can get that next quality play. Merits, great beat on one. One's a beat, but that touch going well wide of the nets. Waffle's going to clear, and she'll chase this one down. Back in front. Karma dunked away. And Waffle again. Great pass to Gio. Oh, he's put some power behind that, but the muscle won't beat Merits. Tenax Premier try again. Karma. The sidewall. Waffle's waiting right for it. Gio's already returning. And the net's there. That shot's in. Karma couldn't get back in time. And Tenax Premier, with passes that no one could foresee, are taking the lead in the final minutes.
Gio has been set up multiple times by both Mystic and Waffle in the past 2 minutes of gameplay. Finally, one will end up falling for him. That is the lead, the first lead Tenax Premier has had. And they're going to have to try and protect it here. Just under 40 seconds to go now, Sporty.
Merritt, I thought he would have gotten that double tap as well. That shot's great. Gio, he'll stay on top of that in a very risky situation, because in a place like that, you don't know if they're going to jump on you immediately or not. Obviously for Evo, they decided to wait to see if the miss would happen. Never did, though. They've got to look again. As time winding low, only 20 seconds now on that clock as Tenax Premier to even up that scoreline. It's Frezzo. It's Gio who's waiting patiently, but it's Team Evil Velocity who need that ball. Karma doesn't get to this. Waffle's gonna beat it and secure game 2. Team Evil Velocity could not hold themselves together, and Tenax Premier, with another goal from Waffle, will take this game and even the scoreline.
Mystic is all over the place, and there's so many bumps going on. You're having to watch now. Evil Velocity are having to watch for these bumps, for that extra man, and in doing so, ends up throwing off the defense just enough. Tenax breaks through, they tie the series, and it's now a best of 5.
And it is Tenax Premier who is proving that Team Evo Velocity is not as unbeatable people may think they are. I remember yesterday so many teams talking about how high-ranked Evo Velocity is that they calling them in many ways a cheat code to win this tournament. Tenax Premier is proving that they are definitely not that. They're a good team, but they are beatable if you play your cards correctly. Tenax Premier with a really well-played game too, and you've got to see that kind of creativity for them to succeed. Again, they're proving that this Team Evo side is not unbeatable.
Yeah, and Tenax Premier did a great job. You know, at the end of game 1, Evo was, I mean, they were just firing away. It was basically almost free play for them. Felt like as they started to pour the goals on, they had that swagger, that confidence. They started feeling good. This game, Tenax Premier did a great job of making Evo uncomfortable, both in their own half and in the Tenax zone when they were on defense. They did an extraordinary job. The only goal they got was off of a just full-on, full 3-team commit. Other than that, the Tenax Premier held them in check.
That's the big thing as well. What I really like from Tenax Premier is the fact that they went for passes when they weren't expected. Because it's one thing to just go for passes. It's another thing to mix them in when people don't expect them. A lot of the goals that they got off those info passes weren't like incredible passes. They were just passes at times that Team Velocity weren't expecting. I mean, I remember that ball that was cleared away that Waffle put in midfield for Geo. That was a pass they didn't expect. We've got to see more of that out of Tenax Premier because simply put, with how fast Evo Velocity is, you've got to catch them off guard.
Be very interesting to see how this series evolves now. Game 3, we're underway with the kickoff. Merritt is going to send a couple bumps the way, forces Waffle up. Waffle did get the touch. There's another demo, and that bump, that's a bump you don't want to happen. Blue on blue, unfortunately, and Evo will have to go back to their own zone and reset.
Yeah, it's a unfortunate bump for Frezzo, but it's proving just how tough that bump game really is. It is one thing to just go for the bump game because you feel like it. It's another to do it like how you're seeing Mystic do it, where it's well timed. It's when those bumps need to happen is what's really the tough part about that bump playstyle. And Tenax Premier proving that it's not an easy skill to master, but right now they've shown a sort of ability to do that well. As now a fake from Geo, not going to get through Merritt though. Runs on no boost, looking to chain dash his way. This one, midfield, Mystic will beat Karma. And Tenax Premier will go field this. Wait a second, Frezzo doesn't have this one. Oh, he's backflipped. And Geo will take this one. Originally, he was going to jump early, but seeing Frezzo not go for it, it was a chance that he could wait for.
It was gifted straight over that center dot, which is where we're going to have the kickoff after that goal. Unfortunately for Fresh, it happens to all of us. As a player myself, it happens plenty to me, and it happens... And in a setting like this, you know, at least it happened with lots of time on the score sheet. So one mistake, it's not detrimental. Get back out there and try again.
Yeah, mistakes gonna happen. I mean, we've seen a lot of them already. It's a high pressure situation. Teams are not going to always play at their best ability here as Mystic. Almost going the wrong direction there. Geo, midfield, Waffle will be the block, and Tenax Premier right now is looking to not make any mistakes with how their defense is playing. There's a lot of pressure on those challenges, on that last player back, to not let the play get out of control. Oh, what a fake! Oh my goodness! Merritt dimes it up! Team Evo Velocity take things slow, and Tenax Premier, everybody was faked, and Evo Velocity have evened the scoreline, 1 each.
The way that Merritt landed, that was almost like the world's tiniest little pogo. He used the bumper of his Finnick to propel that ball forward. He gets the flip reset, and then Tenax is like, okay, he's got the flip. He starts to roll. Okay, maybe he's got a musty. I mean, there was just so many options, and Merritt used that deception so well. The game is tied because of that.
Geo to the back wall. Answer could not put it on the net. Tenax Premier again. Waffle now. Upfield pass. This for Mystic. The shot saved in front. Waffle looking back. Geo now. Is it in? It is. Tenax Premier. It may have been unorthodox, but they don't mind. It's chaos in front of the net. And that is the lead once again.
That's such a good play from Waffle. I mean, they're inside the blue goal. You think by that point, maybe I'm out of the play. I just need to focus on getting back. But Waffle kept her eye on the ball, on the prize, hops out of the goal, pops the ball out to Geo, wins the challenge, and another goal for Tenax thanks to that. And here comes Fresh, looking for that back wall, but Geo said not so fast.
And Geo looking to make things not so easy as Merritt to the back wall. Oh, he's trying to go for a redirect off his own back wall. Will not be able to connect it. Tenax Premier. Look again, Mystic off the ceiling. At this point, it's becoming a battle of mechanics. It's been a whole different game. But the bumps still ring true. Mystic gets involved again, and whenever he's in front of that net, it spells disaster for Evo Velocity.
Just brutal. I mean, Mystic is throwing Merritt straight into his own goalpost, and when you're over there, the net is just wide open. Right now, Tenax Velocity, their goal may not have been as flashy as Merritt, but right now, just some good, hard-nosed Rocket League for them is paying some extreme dividends.
It really isn't about how you get there, it's all about just getting there at this point. Tenax Premier up by 2 with half the game to go. Mystic wants another. This one's bouncing down. Merritt will be there first, but it's Geo again. Oh, it's a very light first touch, but not light enough to beat Frezzo. And Tenax, oh, they gotta be careful here because Merritt's got space. And a flip, the fake under. This one, is it on? It isn't. Oh, it's pinched away. The net's wide open. Waffle, going, gone. 4-1. Tenax Premier have caught Evo Velocity on an overcommit, and they extend their lead to 3.
What a heartbreaking bounce off that crossbar from Team Evo. The bounce not only ends up preventing them from getting the goal, it also sets up Waffle to walk the ball right downfield. And that's just an easy one for Tenax Premier. The mountain for Evo Velocity gets even bigger.
And with Tenax Premier showing that consistency, showing that creativity, I mean, this is a team that is not showing too many issues, although they have overcommitted on their side. Karma, I don't think he was expecting that net to be so open for himself, but I don't think he'll be complaining as an aggressive challenge with Waffles. You have to go against 2 players there. Just not a smart decision for a player who's usually plays so intelligently. And Evo Velocity are going to take that one. Waffle just, I think, not using all of her brain there because that's just a mistake that you don't normally see a player like her make.
Oh, and Karma's coming back for more. Merritt's there. He got bumped. His net's open. Karma just can't find the angle. That shot's also wide. Now Evo's going to have to get back on this one. Good for Merritt, you know. Scored the great first goal, sets up the second goal with a great challenge, and already back to the house trying to get the third goal on that bump play. They did get denied now. That's a wide open goal, and it's stopped from behind. Never out of the play, never giving up. Good save.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a guaranteed 5th goal for Tenax. It's still going to be a 5th goal at the end of this play. Mystic crashing in. That's, I believe, his first of the game, but it's Tenax's 5th. And this series is completely turned around. What we saw in Game 1 was Evo Velocity outranking Tenax Premier. Now seeing Tenax Premier throwing themselves at the ball and finding it to work.
Right now in chat, Sporty, Rising Storm is not having a good day. I have seen no's with lots of O's being put in, just like we have lots of goals being put in for Tenax Premier now. This is a completely different story. Game 1, we saw Team Evo sort of take off and put some distance in between them and the opponent, but now it's Tenax Premier. They're the ones running right down the track, and they are gaining a lot of ground on Evo right now.
Waffle. The ground will go for that pinch yet, and maybe yet another goal here for a Tenax Premier team. I think already has had enough goals to speak of, but they are not done with that scoring. Geo already has 3 goals himself. Waffle cutting it across. Karma will send this one away, but it's Tenax Premier who are just going to, at this point, play for the rest of this game. They're up by 4. They don't really have too much to be worried about at this point. It's all about just carrying this into Game 4 because the way they're playing, it's just like, it feels a lot like what they did for their last series. It was just one hiccup, and that's all that they're giving to their opponents. Now they're back into the usual groove, and Team Evo Velocity have got to watch their backs because those demos are picking them apart. Mystic has been the crucial player this series so far.
Yeah, and the crucial player that I spoke about for Team Evo Fresh has had a relatively quiet game. Game 2 wasn't too much better, but here in Game 3, like we saw Merritt, and that's going to be another goal for Geo. Big time dunk on Karma there, but Fresh has had a rough go of things, as had the whole team of Evo, and right now it is just Tenax Premier flexing their muscles just a little bit, and they are up 7-2. We're once again denied the mystical scoreline. One too many goals for Evo, but that's okay.
Tenax Premier, this is their game. This really feels like it's their series. A team that came into today looking confident, but I don't think people expected them to be this confident coming into that. They've turned this whole thing around, and they are making this look easy. Time will run out in Game 3. Tenax Premier have taken the lead, and just like they did last series, this is going to carry through into that next game. If I'm TV Velocity, I mean, it might be early, but I would definitely be considering that tactical timeout because right now, things are not looking very good.
Oh, absolutely. Breakia says it's not timeout time in the chat, but I'm going to have to agree with Sporty here. I think the timeout needs to happen now. It needs to happen before series point. You don't want to try to make changes with the last game of your tournament life, perhaps being played the very next one. And I mean, game one, Evo Velocity, they kind of dominated Tenax Premier. And then the next two games, the script has totally been flipped on its head. Something different has changed, whether it be nerves, more nerves on one side, less nerves on Tenax's side. Either way, it's been completely changed, and Evo Velocity looked like they were a team that were struggling to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, struggling is a good way to define what it has been like so far in between these games as we're moving into that next game. Just a little update for you on the TommyBuckets side as I load up his stream. He's got, again, the other match going on, HSG Pronoia taking on Whiffer Wetjet. So it's another really good match that we're going on to, that's happening right now. I know that's a match that a lot of people are paying attention to because, you know, one of those teams is going to be in the grand finals, but also because those are two of the highest seeded teams going into this event. Right now, I actually don't know what the series is. He's in between games, but
3-1 for Pronoia in game 5.
Pronoia's winning right now. That's impressive that they're winning the series right now. But again, looking to set up the potential for an RLSS ATS Grand Finals. We're guaranteed at least one team from ATS in that event. Whoever wins this series. On the other side for TommyBuckets, obviously, with another great match on his stream. Team of Velocity, though, trying to keep themselves going, trying to get just even the series up. Tenax Premier, when they're in this point, they really don't look like losing. And Viva Velocity, who did not take that tactical timeout, it is Tenax Premier's a chance to take match point, really put the pressure on Evo and make them regret not taking more time in between these games.
Waffle's going to leave that for Geo. That was a good leave. Ends up getting it open over Karma. Fortunately for them, though, Fresh was sitting on the backboard waiting. He and Merritt are going to outlet the zone. Here comes Merritt. No more boost to his name, but the dunk didn't quite get it past Geo there. Now this shot from Fresh, a good attempt. It's just wide, and Geo's going to reset. There's a demo in the backfield. Who else? It's Mystic taking out Karma. And that actually opens up some space here. Tenax have a chance, and it's shut down.
That's the thing about Mystic, you know, he's been demoing a lot, but every single demo that he's had has been timed very precisely. He's not just demoing because he feels like it. He's doing it to open up spaces and to open up areas. Like that's the thing about Mystic is whenever he demos, don't just pay attention to the fact that he did demo. Pay attention to where that demo is, because it's almost always located in a crucial place. Viva Velocity on a crucial player in that place. And Tenax Premier, I mean, they're utilizing that because Mystic is giving them the best openings right now, the best opportunities, because those Team Evo players that are crucial to the defense are not available anymore, as now Mystic actually going to go himself. Gio took that away from him. I don't really like that play. Tenax Premier sent two players up for a lackluster offensive attack, and Team Evo Velocity still can't get out of defense, though. Tenax Premier are just holding on, keeping up the offense, keeping up the shots, and a bullet from Gio has found the net. That could not have been any better placed.
Bar down, bang, bang, Geo goes. What a shot up and over Fresh, and then in net, Karma did not know whether to stay or go. So if it hits the post and bounces out and you jumped for it, you can end up own-goaling that very easy, but it was perfect. That shot almost couldn't be any more perfect because any higher, that ball's not in.
And Tenax Premier up by one because of it, but Merritt looking for an answer. That touch not going to go very far. As so, Geo looking closer to that midfield as Waffle. Oh, two players on it. No one able to get the touch. Mystic to the corner. That's a great play, but Frezzo's waiting on it. So is Merritt. This one cleared across the field. Mystic bumped out, but in goes Waffle to get her own version of that demo attack on Evo Velocity. Now Mystic again in front. Left for Geo. Karma clears. Merritt challenged by Waffle. Mystic jumping in aggressively. And Tenax Premier. So often, you're going to see that third player challenge upfield.
Oh no.
And it can sometimes lead to overcommits, but often it just leads to plays like this, where Evo Velocity just don't have enough numbers back. And then 10x Premier attack, they take over, and now, all of a sudden, they're up by 2 in a very crucial game in this series.
I know we're just the casters. We don't have to worry about playing right now. We can just observe, but from Fresh's perspective there, you got to see Mystic. All I heard was the sound of a locomotive coming right down the tracks. That's why I said, oh no, because Fresh ends up taking the worst of that. He got bumped, and that opened the hole needed. Again, another crucial demo Mystic. 2 men back, suddenly turns to 1 man back, and he smoke screen. So These bumps right now for Tenax are just disgusting, and if you're Evo, you need a play like this from Merit. Solo, Dolo, but the save comes through from Mystic on the flip reset.
This has been a complete turnaround. We saw a good amount of those demos in that last series, but they weren't all that effective against end-to-end. Against Evo Velocity, it's practically necessary for Tenax Premier to win off those demos. And as they look midfield again, Karma trying to clear this one out. Frezzo, it's a great first touch. Frezzo still got this, looking to nets, saved away initially, waffles up. Not a very fast aerial, but no one else up with her. And Tenax Premier will keep this ball away for now, as Merit won't get it. Frezzo, low boost, does get a piece of it against Geo. Karma now, a lot to work with, but Mystic's already up. Karma to the ceiling, this to the goal! Merit's missed the net! Waffle will clear it out, and for Tenax Premier, who didn't even move, that was a huge opportunity. Evo Velocity had beaten them on that play. The shot just needed to be on target.
Was so close. Nice 50 here by Karma trying to stop the attack. A Goomba accidental there by Mystic, bumping the wrong team color. Haven't really seen much of that. His bumps have been so good, just like that one. I mean, that takes that player down to the ground with no boost. Merit now chipping in, trying to get the ball past Geo, and a nice bump there. And Waffle now getting in on the bump action, trying to get the redirect. It's up. Awkward for Karma. The ball's still in front. It's wide open. Mystic, no mistakes from there. And Sporty, it looks like we might be headed to match point in Game 5.
I don't know what that touch was from Waffle. I don't know how she knew that that was the touch she was going to get, but she made it very awkward for Karma, who he didn't know what was going to happen in front. He thought, I think he was expecting a shot there from Waffle, but she instead went up for the lob pass. It was the right decision. She didn't have boost. And for Tenax Premier, once again showing up in another game here. Evo Velocity, I mean, again, reminder, they're the higher ranked team in this matchup, and yet it's Tenax Premier who have just looked incredible, who look unbeatable right now. The demos are doing everything, wonders for Tenax Premier. And for Evo Velocity, can they get anything here? Frezzo beats Waffle, Mystic. Pinch to the back corner, and Evo Velocity just trying to find that net. Merit, Geo with the save, Tenax Premier once again up the field, left for Waffle, time running out. Waffle's gonna get yet another one. And if you thought things were bad enough, it's only getting worse. Tenax Premier on the route to shutting out Team Evo Velocity in Game 4 to take match point.
One good thing, it can't really get much worse. It felt like this game has been over for a while. That goal doesn't really mean anything other than some good feels for Tenax Premier, who are playing so incredibly well. They are doing a great job.
And for Tenax Premier, that great job, as you'll describe it now, will give them match point. Once again, on the cusp of going to the Grand Finals, they have not been there in any ATS event, or even RLSS event, although I don't think they play in RLSS as a unit.
Speaking of winning, Pronoia has just advanced. They are our first Grand Finalists, Game 5. They won it, and they are through.
And as impressive result as was also, I think, but what is not as impressive, Evo Velocity was just called the timeout. So they're going to get an extra minute. They're going to be able to talk about things here. And that means they're going to get an extra minute to talk things out, Fox. I think that was a smart decision, because realistically, I think that I would have liked to see them do it earlier. But let's be real honest. If we weren't going to use it now, I'd be questioning their sanity.
We're up in the booth. We make absolutely zero decisions. We are just bringing you the gameplay. We make no decisions that influence the players whatsoever. Break in the chat is happy with the timing on the timeout. In my personal opinion, I feel like it really needed to come earlier, because the scores for Evo Velocity across the board, the highest point total on the team, 256, 3 shots on goal, 1-1. That is only 5 as a team. Couple saves here and there, but of course, no goals, no assists. They really have been needing a spark for a while. Game 1 was very handily in their favor, and now Evo Velocity, they have to figure out something. 60 seconds are on the clock now. They are going to need to try and figure out a way to throw Tenax Premier a curveball and knock them off the pedestal that they're on, that they built for themselves.
And it already looks like Evo Velocity might be reaching in to bring in Exo into this game. Looks like it's going to be the OG lineup. Karma's left, Exo's in, and this is the lineup that I think people would recognize out of Team Evo Velocity. Frezzo, Merit, Exo. They've been teammates before. They were here in that last ATS event. This was the roster that made it to the Grand Finals. Now they're bringing Exo. That's a big change, a big adjustment. And for Evo Velocity, they're actually already calling it. They don't want to have any more timeout. They want to go right back into this. So they're not even going to take the full 60 seconds. They just were here, talking things out, making that sub change. And we are in for this one, as Wait a second, I'm getting a call here. Actually, timeout's not going to be over. We're going to get a reset here in Game 5. So I guess for Team Evo Velocity, they took back. They took back that call for it to start immediately. So we're going to take a quick lobby reset, but just to talk a little bit more out of Team Evo Velocity, what do you think we need to see out of them, Fox? Because right now, they had so many good things in Game 1, but Tenax Premier caught up to them. And a lot of, I think, what the issue is for Evo Velocity is that they're struggling against this demo-heavy meta.
Yeah, Evo Velocity needs to do exactly what TommyBuckets is doing to your stream chat right now, and that is pour it on. I mean, they are going to have to try and attack. They're going to need to get, I think they really need to get the lead. They need to get the lead first, need to put that first goal in here off the timeout. You need to say, you know, we are very much in it. We've beaten this team before. We beat them in Game 1, and you need to get some confidence. Play with confidence, play with speed, play with that same sort of fire that we are aware that Team Evo Velocity have.
As we're going to get these teams back in very, very quickly. Apologies on that one again, because it seems like Team Evo may have not wanted that timeout to end nearly as early as they originally called for it. So we're going to get them back in just a moment. But again, to think about, you know, the fact that HSG Pronoia is waiting in the Grand Finals for the winner of this match, the top team for the BlakLightning Splash Series. What an ending we will have here to see a top team from RLSS in that Grand Finals. They're keeping the hopes of RLSS alive. RLSS won that last event. It was Hendrix Team Not Found who took it. Now HSG Pronoia, the #1 team from RLSS this time around, might be able to steal it. But for us, we have one ATS team that's going to make it to the Grand Finals. Tenax Premier is only one win away from doing that. Evo Velocity waiting on the other side as we're going to get right into Game 5, right back into the series. And for Tenax Premier, this is their chance to take the series, to go to the Grand Final, something that they have not done yet in ATS history.
Buckle up, here we go. HSG are awaiting the winner of this series, Tenax Premier. They need one more game. They are going to meet that same Pronoia team, but to get to there, they have to get through a newly structured roster. As X has come in, Karma has subbed out. This is the roster I saw yesterday. They played very well, but is it too little too late with the timeout and the sub sporty? We'll have to wait and find out.
I actually would say no, because I like Exo's playstyle. He's generally plays with this roster a lot more than Karma does, and you know, for a player like Exo, he's very talented. Although it is very late to bring him in. Evo Velocity, it just feels like they took too long to make that change, and now they're gonna have to suffer the consequences of it. Tenax Premier only need to win once. That's the position they're in. That's the place they're waiting at. Evo Velocity have got to play perfect from here on out, and adjusting to a new player is not an easy thing to do, but it's what they've got to do. Fortunately for them, it's a player they're very used to in Exo. Oh, what a shot!
That is such a good shot from Waffle. Top left bins. Waffle gets the flick over one. X has to go up, get the save, but for Waffle, it's just grab some boost. Wait a second, there's open space, time and space there. Bardowski with a beautiful shot, and Waffle, she's been doing pretty much all night long, gets her team off to a fantastic start.
And, you know, what's only going to add to it is the fact that we're probably going to see her and Mystic go for a lot more demo plays. I mean, we saw that. That's what's won it for Tenax Premier. I expect to see more of it out of those two, as I think right now we're just trying to see what new style we're going to get from Team Evo Velocity, because the player like Exo, who's been added in, it's going to be a different feel out of Evo Velocity. I think Evo generally sits back a little bit more than Karma does, but he also relies a lot more on teamwork. So we're going to see a different look out of Team Evo Velocity, a different feel, and for Tenax Premier, that means for them as well, they've got to relearn this Evo Velocity team.
Indeed. And I know it has nothing to do with gameplay, but Exo's his Finnick. I love the color with the theme, the underwater theme, and the color of his Finnick. It is a beauty on the blue side. But right now, that Finnick's going to have to get back because his teammate just took a demo. All three Tenax players here. Mystic shot, and who's there? Talk about him. He makes the save. Talking about his vehicle. Mystic gets another demo in the backfield. It's going to cause the Evo counterattack to be a little bit slower than they would have wanted, but another decent chance. They are at least continuing to battle. They are definitely not laying down and just accepting defeat.
Exo finds this one outwards. Mystic gets past two. Frezzo will get the through ball, and Waffle's gonna be careful. Geo, oh, he's waited a lot on that play, but the shot rings off the crossbar, damaging the nets. But Tenax Premier, their spirits have not been destroyed. The lead's still theirs. Exo clears back. Evo Velocity's got open room to work with. Merit. Sidewall, second touch incoming, but he won't read it. This is still on target. Geo will get a piece of it. Tenax Premier gonna get this one away. Exo, Frezzo, nothing on that one as Waffle will keep this airborne. And fortunately for Tenax Premier, they'll get rid of this one here. Waffle Geo, and it's another chance on. Only a 1-goal lead. That second goal would mean everything for Tenax if they're the ones to get it.
Merritt, no more boost, but still trying to make something happen. Fresh just doesn't have enough boost to make that challenge. Geo's up too quick. It's able to get another touch, goes for the bump, but he's not quite Mystic. That bump a little mistimed, but here's Mystic, tries for the shot. That shot unfortunately never came. The ball slips underneath him, and a couple chances there for Tenax. They go by the wayside, and now they're going to have to get back and play a little defense. It's Fresh going for the dunk. Didn't happen. It was kept wide. Mystic will send the ball right downfield, and Waffle trying to make something happen once again like she's been doing all night.
Prezzo, Exo, Mystic with the beats, and the next Premier now looking to keep the midfield. That's a bad touch, but they will clear it out, and Waffle not really back at net. This is a great play for Evo to find control, but the challenge comes way too late. I'm just saying for Team Evo Velocity, a bit of a scared playstyle. Feels like they're more nervous about giving up goals, but they have to score. They don't have a lot of time to do it. We need to see them come in a lot more fearless. We need to see them be more willing to send players upfield, because right now, they're not, and they're just getting burned for it. They're not getting anything on offense as Merritt. So here's a great play. Exit up, getting the bombs! Oh, a big downward dunk! Merritt sends it through. Evo Velocity, tie it up.
Hero, thy name is Merritt. What a double tap. That deflection post and in, absolute beauty. And Merritt, you can almost spell legit with those 5 letters. I mean, Merritt, that was pretty darn clutch, and that has breathed new life into the Evo roster. They're going to have to need a save out of Merritt. He gets it, and we're all tied up, Sporty.
And that timeout may have helped them out a lot here. Tenax, not nearly as potent anymore, but that same top left corner is scored in once again. This time it's Geo with it as Team of Velocity and just weren't able to react in time. It was Geo in the right place at the right time, and Tenax Premier, 46 seconds left, and a chance to go to the grand finals.
Game is not over yet. That was a tough spot for Fresh Mode to be in. Obviously, he had jumps looking for an earlier challenge than he got, puts the ball right in front, ends up being in. And now Team Evo, after that huge goal from Merritt, you have to try and keep riding that momentum. And if you really need to, just give Merritt the ball right now. He scored a beautiful goal in Game 3, he scored a huge one here in Game 4. You just need one, tie it up, and then solve it in overtime.
That's what they've got to do here. Time running low. Exo gets the bump. Oh, what a huge play. Merritt scores. It's tied again, but Exo made this happen.
Tic-tac-toe, you get 3 in a row. That's what they did. Fresh over to the corner. X in front. He gets the bump. He gets the pass. Merritt gets the goal. I'd said, give the ball to Merritt, and he delivers once again. Evo still with the pulse going right now. They are not done yet.
There's still life in this series for Evo Velocity, but Tenax, another demo. It's an open space, open room to work with. Waffle from the back wall, from the backfield. Oh, Merritt's gonna jump in early, and Evo Velocity may get the last laugh. It's a great pinch in front. Exo! 1 second left. Evo Velocity. This may be Game 5.
From defeat to victory, perhaps. Exo in front gets the pass from Merritt. Merritt has first letter is M for a reason. MVP in Game 5 for me. Huge goals, huge pass in front. Evo lives to fight another day. We are headed to Tokyo.
Neo Tokyo for Game 6, and Evo Velocity en route to that comeback, en route to that grand finals. They want to be there. They want to be the ones to take on HSG Pronoia. But it's Tenax Memory who've kept it close. And after that timeout, although it did work, what's really going to matter now is after the timeout's been used. Well after, now a game after the timeout game has been used. Will things change? Will we be able to see Evo Velocity keep it? Consistency is key in a bracket like this, in a match like this. Without it, we're not going to see them take on much more.
Finally, some life breathed into the Evo offense. That was something they've really been sort of lacking for these past few games where they have taken defeat after defeat. They've been lacking that offense. This time, Merritt himself had almost as many shots as the whole Tenax team did as a whole. 7 shots for Merritt, 8 for the team of Tenax. And those 7 shots, 2 goals go in. Gets the game-winning assist as well. Huge game for Merritt. Huge game for Velocity. X made a difference coming in as well. So, I mean, shout out to that team. They did not say die, and they get another crack at it. The series is definitely not over.
Neo Tokyo for Game 6 and a potential comeback for Evo Velocity if they can keep this moving. They've found ways to silence the passing out of Tenax Premier 5 more minutes on the clock. Yet another game in this series, and now that Evo Velocity are playing with the rush that people expect them to play with, will be able to turn things around for themselves. This is going to be a huge game for them. I mean, every game is in this series, but really importantly, this is where we need to see Evo Velocity come out early, prove that that momentum is not leaving.
Yeah, you know, after the timeout buff, you talked about it. It didn't really happen early on in the game. They looked weak last game. They're going to concede another goal in the first 20 seconds here. And who else, Sporty? Tenax Premier, it is Waffle once again with the first goal, not only of the game, but for her team as well.
That's just a bump in the corner. Evo Velocity, maybe a little bit too excited after that last game win, but it's all about resetting. It's another game, and in this series, that's a great chance. Frezzo reaches back for it, but he doesn't get by Gio. And now an awkward play. Bump in front again. Merit running into Exo. And Evo Velocity have got to be careful here because those bumps are going to make things tough. They're basically doing the work of Tenax Premier for them here as Merit able to get by, and Waffle with the midfield under her control. Exo, Waffle with the demo. Gio, open space. That's going to sail high, but only to Merit's waiting bumper. Tenax Premier still have to wait though because Merit looking for the double tap. Waffle will never give him space, and the Tenax Premier, they're just looking to keep this ball under control in the play, and as Mystic will search for it, that one will fall through. Oh, almost got the pinch by Frezzo, but Tenax Premier not enough on it. And right now you're seeing a solo play based attack. They aren't as comfortable anymore with those passing plays, and it's by design. Team Evo Velocity showing that they're a much stronger team now, much scarier team. But in comes the demo and the pass, and for Tenax Premier, it's back to basics. They didn't want to use it earlier, but now that they have, success is imminent.
It's almost like they can't not use the crossbar. It's another great shot. There wasn't a defender there, but if there was, that is the best place to put it. Another incredible shot. And thanks to the bump and the team play coming out of Tenax Premier right now, it is paying extremely forward for them after a tough Game 5 defeat. They're looking good here in Game 6.
It's all about teamwork. You know, as I mentioned earlier today, the best teams are not the ones with the best players. It's the ones that have the best team. That's what this tournament's about, not the players. You can be a good player and never be noticed, but people only remember the best teams, the players that could win. Tenax Premier, again, only one game away from their first Grand Finals appearance. Waffle. Gio, that one cleared outwards as Exo now booming this one away. Waffle waiting under it as a great first touch. Still with it is Waffle. This one, Verso in the way, but Gio waiting. That one's gonna stay wide, but Merit's facing the wrong direction. Tenax, midfield, bump in front. Mystic looking, Verso will clear. And Waffle waiting all the way back. Time for Evo Velocity to get to offense and to get back to work. They're down by 2. They need to score soon.
Time is definitely a factor. We are ticking down to about half the time remaining in the game. Waffle, the double out of the corner, denied. That's a big-time shot from Merit. Did not have enough juice to get over Gio. That was the last man back. Stood tall, but right now for me, Team Evo's decision-making, I don't know if they're feeling some nerves right now or maybe just the communication's not quite there, but they're sending some players when they really don't need to, and it's honestly costing them some chances. Exo's going to put it in front. Merit's going to be there, but Gio again, big-time save.
And Tenax
So right
Premier,
now, for Evo, they got to try and find a way to right the ship.
Tenax Premier is all about those big time saves, staying in on the play, staying right on top of Evo Velocity, because you know Evo Velocity is going to find chances, and very likely they could find a goal at the end of this game. It's all about making sure that defense holds them out for as long as possible, and Tenax Premier doing that very well so far. Mystic beats out Exo, and the ball still in that blue half. They've got to get out of defense here, but Gio, back wall, Merit keeps out that potential for Waffle to shoot, and another chance in front. Tenax Premier still winning the 50s. The midfield has been won by Tenax, and Team Evo Velocity cannot seem to progress.
Such a good touch by Merit, sending the ball in deep. This is where you really need it. Even if you're not creating a chance, spend some time in the orange half. Mistakes can happen. We've seen mistakes this series from both sides. You need to try and keep your foot on the gas. That's gonna be a beautifully placed shot. Merit again playing the hero. And I don't even know if blood is flowing through this man's veins, because right now it's all ice from Merit.
1 minute, 6 seconds. That's all Evo Velocity are given to score once more and to even the scoreline. They've already done it. They did it last game in a position very similar to this one, where they were able to come back late. It's better late than never, that's for sure, and in a match like this, every goal matters. But for Tenax now back on offense, looking once again, bump in front, not made, but it won't be necessary. Geo takes the 2-goal lead back, and once again it is enforcing the play with Waffle.
And normally we see Mystic doing the bumping there. It's Waffle showing her muscle. Not only that, she put the ball up onto the backboard, making it awkward on Team Evo. You know, we talked about Merritt pulling some huge weight for Team Evo. It's been Waffle for me on Tenax Premier, and, well, Mystic says, hey, don't forget about me. I can score too.
Yeah, but it won't be Mystic with that final touch, unfortunately for Evo Velocity. That own goal may have just settled things. 46 seconds left. Still time, but to get 3 goals, that's not a likely outcome. Team Evo Velocity, who made it to the grand finals of last season's ATS Apex Cup, may see their chances to make it to the grand finals here, dashed in the semifinals against a team that themselves could not get through the semifinals. Tenax Premier, what an improvement so far as Merritt, oh my goodness, looking for something. But for Evo Velocity, even that won't work for them. Tenax Premier waiting under it, although Exo, that shot's well wide, and time will run out. Tenax Premier have guaranteed their spot in the grand finals. HSV Pronoia didn't have to wait for too long. They play Tenax Premier. It's ATS and RLSS in the grand finals, and it's a matchup that Tenax Premier has never seen before. They're in the grand finals for the very first time, and they'll be taking on Heady Scarf Gang Pronoia, the RLSS Season 6 Surge Cup champions.
Oh, what a game. What a series that turned into. I mean, we saw both teams kind of take advantages early. Team Evo won game 1 so thoroughly. They made Tenax look pretty silly, and then Tenax in games 2 and 3, they returned the favor. Team Evo left sort of looking for answers at the end of game 4. They called a timeout. They do stay alive for an extra game. In game 6, Tenax shuts it down. Waffle, a deserved MVP medal for her. In that game, it was 2 goals, 2 assists, 100% goal participation for that lady. And she and her team looking primed, sporty. All they have to do win one more series, and you got the cup.
That's all that matters, but it's the toughest one of all. It's the grand finals. Team Evo's run in this tournament is gone, but for us here in the booth, let's take a look at the grand finals coming up. Team Evo Velocity is out. Tenax Premier has won the series 4-2. They take on HSG Pronoia in the grand finals. One more match left tonight here, Fox, but of course, before you leave here, are there any last things you want to say? Any final messages for people out there before you leave and we set up for the grand finals?
One thing that I noticed in the chat, you got Rising Storm, you got Break, all these people who are supporting their friends, supporting their fellow org members, all of that. Keep that going. This is what makes these events so incredible, is the support. Not only that, but the admins here for ATS, RLSS, both are incredible leagues, putting this whole tournament on, organizing a Swiss, doing so in a very organized Google Sheet. This is what I love to see in the amateur RL scene, because, all of this, great casters, great production, teams getting to play. Maybe it's only for, $100 prize pool, but still, that's more than anything. It's the competition. It's being able to play with friends, play with your team, and increase the skill level all around. Just push each other as far as you can. And you got 2 more teams. That's all that's left. And this wonderful tournament will come to a close. So I appreciate my chance to not only be a caster. Thanks for having me twice in a row, Sporty. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. Looking forward to see who gets the final hoorah in the grand final.
Well, for all of you out there, this is the moment. The grand finals. 2 teams left. Only one can be a champion. We'll see you back for Tenax Premier HSG Pronoia. One team has already won their league, the other to the grand finals for the very first time. We'll see you back for the grand finals of the ATS RLSS Champions Cup 2 right after this short break.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight. We have the grand finals of the Championship Cup 2, brought to you by ATS and RLSS. And joining me here in Sporty's booth, Sporty FC. Welcome in, my man. We've got HSG Pronoia and Tenax Premier going toe-to-toe.
Yeah, unlike last tournaments, where it was literally RLSS in the top 4 spots, this tournament's been a little different. This one actually has a bit of a fight from ATS. They're in the grand finals. Tenax Premier have never been in the grand finals in any ATS tournament. And of course, the one they do it in is the one where RLSS is included. They take on the RLSS Surge Cup champions and HSG Pronoia. Both these teams went 3-1 on day 1. They looked pretty good, but had a few hiccups. Today, though, they've shown up, and all that matters is day 2. If you can make it to day 2, everything from day 1 doesn't matter. It's all about playing well at the moment in every match you play in. For the teams that are here, you gotta give credit. This is a big moment for both of them, and really a big moment for these teams because for one of them it's their first time in the grand finals. For the other, they could potentially keep RLSS as the champions in the Champion Cup.
So it's funny you mentioned that they both went 3-1 on the Swiss stage. Today, they both had a 4-1 series and a 4-2 series. These guys, I mean, when you're talking about bringing 2 leagues together and having these teams go toe-to-toe, I mean, this is the exact type of scenario you want to see. This is the storyline of 2 teams that have showcased that they belong here at the top of the Champions Cup. And for both of these teams, they're going to have to show it here tonight. HSG Pronoia, no stranger to being in a grand finals, but that doesn't mean it's going to be any easier. Tenax Premier has shown that they can go toe-to-toe with some of the best that you're going to find at this level of play, and I am so excited. I've been hearing some great things about Waffle coming up, leading into this match, and if I had to pick a player from HSG, I got to say, this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like I have to say Quest. I think Quest is that point guard, your Jason Kidd, your Stephen Curry. He creates space for his team and allows his players that can do some of the extra stuff do those extra things. And for me, Quest is that for HSG Pronoia.
Yeah, I think another player to focus on will be Mystic this series. It's going to be pretty easy to focus on him because he's going to be the one getting all the demos. If you didn't notice last series, Mystic went berserk. He got demos on demos. That's how they beat Team Evil Velocity. But yeah, for HSG, I would agree with you. I've seen a good amount of HSG. I saw them a lot on day 1. Quest was that player. Surrounded by players like Icarus and Anima, it's not easy to be noticed, but with what Quest has done, he's such a good backline player. He's such a good third player of that team. He's such a good player that sits back, kind of creates that space, and you said, makes the play. He unleashes that offense out of his side, and for Tenax Premier, again, with players like Waffle who can do that, she's going to have her match. This is Quest. He can do just that as well, and it's going to be a very much a boxing match of blows, I think, for both these teams, because they both, let's be real honest, are going to score a lot. These are teams that are going to find ways to score.
My Quest, the secret weapon. Oh, I thought he said secret. He had a special question. I'd have read that completely wrong. My my reading capabilities came through wrong there. But no, yeah, I think both of these teams know what's on the table. They know what's at stake. HSG Pronoia, like I said, they might not be no stranger, but they definitely have the passion, and I think that's what keeps them alive. And from what I've seen from Tenax Premier, I got to see him a little bit yesterday, and I didn't get to see him too much today, but to be able to see them kind of have the performance they've had against the teams I have seen, I mean, a crazy performance coming out of Evo Velocity in the quarterfinals. I mean, to know that they took them down is just absolutely remarkable. And now they stand toe-to-toe with HSG. I think this is a showing for a Game 7 OT,
And you're right
which
about
you know
it.
I love.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we knew you were gonna say that at some point, right? Come on, let's be real honest. We knew you were going to say that at some point here, but I think what's also interesting is I always like to focus on RLSS and ATS matchups. I've been focusing a lot on Tenax because I like them as a team. They're fun to watch. On day 1, the teams that they did beat Evil Velocity on day 1 as well. So to beat them again, actually pretty impressive from Tenax. They do have a counter, but I also think is interesting for Tenax is that for them on day 1, 2 of the matches from RLSS. Their first 2 matches were RLSS teams. Second 2 were ATS teams. But today, it's kind of turned around on them. Their first match was RLSS, their second was ATS. They've had a very even lineup. For HSG, they've been going on the ATS gauntlet today. They took down ODU Monarch Silver, then they took on Whiffer Wet Jets. They've took on our Season 1 winner and then our Season 2 winner. They took down both of our winners. So HSG Pronoia is looking to keep RLSS hopes alive here because they won, because it was RLSS who, if you guys remember, won the last Champions Cup. I mean, they made it into the top 4 spot, so they have a lot of reason to be in that kind of top position here. As we're gonna hopefully get HSG back in, but for HSG, they've been going on an ATS run here in this event. They beat 2 teams today. Now, if I'm looking at day 1, I'm gonna check and see how many teams they beat. They started off beating an RLSS team, then they went on to lose to an RLSS. So they beat an ATS team, lost to an RLSS team, then they beat an RLSS team, and then they beat another RLSS team. So they played a lot of RLSS teams on day 1, now beating our ATS teams on day 2. Both these teams have had a ton of matchups against teams they don't know very well. But that's the thing, they can adapt to it. And for a tournament like this, where most of these teams don't know each other super well, when you're going up against half this competition practically for the first time, this is all about being able to adapt to your situation. And we're seeing those adaptations. These teams can do it, and with the talent they have, with the mechanical ability they have, with the teamwork, they are able to adapt. And that's all that matters in a match like this, against teams this good.
I just saw Waffle say thanks for the chat voice, cracking me up. No, and I said it, coming into this, I'll say it again. I've been paying a lot of attention to a lot more Rocket League at this level and the collegiate level across CRL and other collegiate level. It's been something that's really been exciting for me lately. And something that I really want to stress is I said it coming into this, looking at a lot of people's predictions, I just kind of had to laugh because I thought a lot of people were underestimating a lot of teams. I think all the teams that made the top 8, every single one of those teams could make an argument for being in this position. And I really thought that it was going to go, I thought these matches were going to be a lot tougher today. I thought for sure that we would see a lot more game 5s and beyond because of that situation. I really did think that there was a lot of talent in this tournament this season, and I'm super excited, man. I think both of these guys are going to leave a lot on the table, and I'm pumped, man. I really hope it goes game 7. I know players don't like that, but man, do I love it.
We haven't had one yet today, so I feel like we're due for one here as we go to the grand finals. Tenax Premier in the blue, Eddie's Scarf Gang Pronoia on the orange. Tenax Premier, their first time in the grand finals. Can they make it worthwhile? But for HSG, they've been here and won that before. They were the Surge Cup champions of Season 6, and they want to take the Champions Cup with them. Keep that tournament well in RLSS's hands and out of the hands of ATS. But ATS, their first time to take it, and this is big for them. Off to the early start. The demo from Mystic, the goal from Waffle, and those are the players you'll want to watch.
A big demo out the gates and a statement from Tenax Premier as they get on the board here early. And not just getting on the board early, but to just abolish a defender and take him completely off the pitch. And another one! I mean, these guys are not messing around. Tenax Premier is coming out aggressive.
And if you, it feels like they're playing to be the most noticeable player. I think there is always a MVP, tournament MVP award at the end of this series. You feel like all the Tenax Premier players go into the demos so that they can be on that, so that everybody can notice them. But no, this is just how they play. They're a demo heavy team. They love to do it. Their teamwork is what makes them stronger. And when you see plays like this, aggression like this, the bumps ringing through, HSG Pronoia, they've got to do what Team Evo could not do, and that is adapt to a very, very aggressive playstyle.
I think we have 2 very aggressive rosters coming toe-to-toe, and right now, the edge is in favor of Tenax Premier, and for HSG, they've got to find a way to kind of break that up, and best way to do that is to give them a little taste of their own medicine, be aggressive back, and kind of be in the face and be in those passing lanes, and right now, HSG is just giving too much room, and another close call as Mystic puts a shot to the far side. This one played away. West now over the midfield line, played into the corner by Icarus, but a quick turn of events. Anima on the backside, he's got a shot on net. Icarus there, but it pulls 2. Mystic with the putback shot, and all of a sudden a 3-point lead. Tenax Premier off to a strong start.
HSG did not know what hit them. Tenax Premier coming in with a haymaker. 3 goals immediately, and HSG Pronoia, the Surge Cup champs, made to look lesser than. And that's what's going to make things very scary is that Tenax Premier can get these leads very quickly, and they can do this consistently. This is how they play. It's a team that loves those bumps and demos, loves to play aggressive. It's a very different play style than what we saw when they played in ATS Season 2, where they lost in the semifinals. This time around, they're coming in, and they mean business. It's 4 goals now. We're almost 90 seconds into this thing, and Tenax Premier may have already taken game 1.
Mentality is a big thing. Being able to stay composed, and HSG's got to shake this off. It's a best of 7. It's, the kickoff. The shot. Oh, it lands. They've got to be in their heads because right now, Tenax Premier are absolutely booming.
As a 5-goal lead, Tenax Premier and the Odyssey HSG calling for the new server, so obviously feels like for HSG, it's just a bad start for them. I think that's one way to put it. I think even more importantly, we should put it as probably the worst start you could have asked for. 5 goals in 90 seconds. I mean, we're talking about about goals flying through, and against Team Evo Velocity, it felt like Tenax scored a lot, but they never had this many goals against Team Evo. This is a complete shift, and HSG is going to bring a response. That's how to do it. Quest throws it in, and off of their own version of a demo attack, Icarus gets rid of Geo, and Quest with the first of the series for HSG.
You worry sometimes when a team is aggressive about kind of overstretching your defense, getting overly assertive and trying to kind of push back. But here, getting in on the play, I think that's what they need to see. But quickly back the other way. This might be a game that they just have to go toe-to-toe with. You got to be able to take the punches. It's like fighting Ali. You just know you're going to get hit. And here tonight, Tenax Premier are putting on a show.
Oh, but they almost had a 6-goal there. Mystic with the miss on that net. Here's a fake from Geo. Oh, he shuffled by HSG, and it's 6-1. Tenax Premier have not stopped scoring. The 5-goal lead reclaimed, but for Geo, he absolutely caught Icarus there. Icarus went for the back wall clear, but it never came. What a smart play from Geo. And for Tenax Premier, this is only game 1. This is the grand finals. They're not treating it like that. They're treating it like it's a playground, and they're the big kids right now.
Big touch off the backboard, waterfall down in front. Icarus plays it away. Close calls. Geo almost gets another one to land. Icarus now to the corner. The pop up. Anima wants it off the backboard. Mystic there, and a good defensive stop. Geo now, no boost. Tries to get a touch. Oh, and it throws off the defense anyways. Mystic wants a center waffle. She's looking for a shot. This one stuffed by Anima. When you talk about somebody who's able to kind of be in your face, Anima is that player. Known for his one's capability, is going to have to come out here tonight as, once again, Tenax Premier is showcasing they belong in that argument of being at the top of the best.
And it's all going to come down to Quest. How is he going to be able to start that? HG Pronoia don't have a lot of momentum on their side, don't have a lot of confidence either with how this game has looked. It's going to start from Quest. All their attacks, all their plays do, as Icarus actually doesn't even need Quest. That's a... Oh, it's off the post. It was a wide open net. HSG would want that again. Quest now has the nets. Saved by Waffle. Tenax Premier got away with one there, but as I was saying, HSG, if they're going to get chances, going to get consistency, it's going to start from Quest on that defensive side as he's going to get a shot there. Geo not back quickly enough. Quest setting up Anima. 2 goals for HSG. And as I said, if Quest can get involved, HSG Pronoia will have reasons to take over.
I think really Quest, to me, just seeing how he plays on the pitch, it appears that he's the voice of the team. He's the one keeping their mental on pace. He's the one creating space and creating looks and allowing players like Anima and Icarus to have that flow. And right now, he's got to reel these guys in. They've got to shake the rust off because it's a long series. Just because this one didn't go your way, and I talk about it a lot, these games are long. There's still 1:20 on the clock. Is it a long shot? Yes. But in a game of Rocket League, we've all been there. We've all played those ranked games and have come back on some crazy matches where you get pumped and stand up out your seat and scream and next door neighbor starts knocking on your wall. So I'm telling you, it can happen. But you got to have the mental. You have to be able to stick with it. And for right now, that's going to be the question that I'm asking of HSG.
Yeah, can they find something, as you said, knock on the walls of that Tenax Premier backline? Because right now, Tenax are knocking through. Oh, how did that shot not go in it? Bounced off of every single piece of the woodwork it could have there before bouncing away from the net. Tenax Premier keeping the 4-goal lead. They don't really need another one at this point, but you know that for their own confidence, they'd love to have more. Really put on that pressure at the end of game 1 as Geo. Quest, this is a chance kept away by Waffle, and Tenax Premier will clear it out. Space for Waffle to take their chance, but Anima on the end of this And a clear for HSG. Geo. Off the back wall. Anima Killer. Mystic. Tenax Premier still holding the midfield. Game 1 is over at this point, but these teams still want one more goal as Anima Killer pinched in front. Quest too high. And HSG Pronoia will not see that be their way. Tenax Premier may get one more chance. It's flicked across, but Waffle can't reach it. It won't change the scoreline. Tenax Premier took over at the start of this game, had the first 4 goals. And from that kind of a lead, HSG, we're going to have a tough time coming back. Game 1 is Tenax Premier's.
They started off a little slow. I love to see the strength coming from them. Oh, yeah, we needed a lobby reset. We saw the strength come from them later in that series. I love to see that they still had that energy because we talked about them needing that. You have to shake off the bad juju because when you're playing at this level and beyond, I always say it kind of starts here, but as you progress in Rocket League, these players are just getting better and better. The environment's getting tougher. The things you have to be capable of just become harder to do. And you're not going to get them easy. You're going to have to take the punches. You got to take the blows. And for HSG Pronoia, it's about adaptability now at this point. Can they withstand the punches that 10X Premier just gave them here in round 1? We are headed to game number 2 here on Forbidden Temple, and I'm about to find out next.
That's a good question as well. And I like what you asked in the middle of the series as well. How HSG is going to bounce back. Who's going to step up for them? As we saw, it came from Quest. I think Quest is the player that's going to have to step up for them. Simply put, you mentioned him. He's the voice. He's that player that's going to command HSG. He's got to be the one that keeps his team above the water, keeps his team confident and positive. As we now move into that second game, it all really comes down to an important grand finals like this, where all these players are, coming in, doing everything they can to get this championship. We've seen so many teams, so many good teams, fail to get to this point. For these teams, you don't get these kind of opportunities often. And, to take them, that's a big deal. For Tenax, again, reminder, this is their first time in any ATS or I think even RLSS Grand Finals. So for them, they're in new territory. This is a big deal for them because, again, in ATS Season 2, they only got as far as the semifinals. So for them, this is new territory. So they're just getting used to this. And with a start like that, their confidence has got to be soaring through the roof.
Now, you've got to be able to withstand the punches. And the shot! Oh, good block by Quest. Oh, man, dude. Again, I'm a huge defensive player, and this tournament particularly. I don't know, dude. The amount of clips I have just on saves alone has been absolutely incredible. Another shot going wide. This one off not 1 but 2 posts. The early pressure still coming out from 10X Premier. HSG still looking to kind of match that rhythm, match that pace of play, and they're looking to do that here on Forbidden Temple.
Icarus to the corner, and Gio getting harassed in the net. Mystic will send this one away, and HSG Pronoia, they may have taken a bit too long. Quest will get a piece of it. Anima now, Icarus, both up for it just to get that ball out. Waffle dropping this one. Mystic, I think, was going to go up for the challenge, but instead turned for the bump. 10X Premier trying to recover the bumps coming in against them as an infield pass. Waffle. Now Mystic, nothing in the tank, but time to work with. Gets around 1, now around 2. We'll set up Geo, up to the ceiling, down to the floor. Waiting in front is Waffle, but she can't turn on that shot. HSG Pronoia had it covered, and they'll go the other way for yet another solo effort. Icarus, back wall, second! Oh, what a block! That was kept wide of the net. 10X Premier with elite defense, and for HSG Pronoia, they're only warming up.
And that is the type of defense I'm talking about. When players put shots like that on net and you hear us get excited while it's coming through the air, I mean, these players have to stay patient. They've got to stay calm, and they've got to keep their posure as another shot comes out from Anima to the far side. Mystic collects. And it's such a difference in scoreline already. In the first couple of minutes, we saw, I believe you said 5 goals?
I think it was 5 goals in the first minute and a half.
10X per minute. It was absolutely just barrage of shots that were accurate coming out of 10X per minute. So far, HSG doing a good job mitigating that, but still need to see them get going. We need to see them kind of get into that 4th gear and start revving their engine just a little bit more.
It's Tenax who are attacking the back wall. Waffle pass to Icarus, the only one waiting, but he'll get the block. Now goes Mystic, and with boost to spare, Mystic outwards. Waffle, not a lot to work with. Off the back wall, Icarus has got it, but that's not a great touch. Geo, oh, he could have challenged that. No one going. Now Mystic has it. That shot saved away. Waffle to take the lead. It's in front. Icarus will get there in time. HSG can turn this one around. Tenax Premier marching a little closer, playing with a little bit of danger here in front of that HSG net. Icarus to the back wall. It's Geo who has sent that ball away. An infield pass. Icarus to the back wall. It's open! Anima Killer takes an HSG Pronoia, their first lead of the series.
I've never got a visual base face before, but man, oh man, was that a play. We talk about these saves, Sporty. The play before that, I just am blown away by what we just saw in the net coming out of Tenax Premier. Oh, and they get the floater. Nobody paying attention, and they're going to get a walk in the park home run coming out of Tenax Premier.
And for HSG, it's that classic aggressive kickoff. So many teams like to use that, where they have that third player push up field rather than back to net. That's the risk when you play a kickoff like that, is that if you don't win the kickoff and you lose it that badly, teams can score on that. And for HSG, they've had issues with the kickoff already this series. We had Tenax score a kickoff goal last game to go up by 5. This game, though, is to tie things up as Quest, my goodness, gets around Mystic. Now he's gone through Geo, but bumped out of the way. HSG, though, can work off of that. But an infield play, no one with boost. Geo with space. They've got to jump up early, but Geo, the flip reset on the ground. Icarus speeds, popped up again. Anima Killer. Out and away, Mystic's touch, not very well made. It's still near the nets. Waffle will keep it out. Quest. Waffle. Anima to the corner. Can't steal that boost, however. Now, Tenax Premier boost becoming much more of an issue. They haven't had that issue so far tonight, but HSG making it an issue, stealing those big boosts. And Tenax Premier cannot stay on defense for too long anymore because without boost, they're going to be treading water.
Dude, I wish you guys could see my expressions right now. The defense that we are seeing from these teams, these shots are absolutely incredible. And the fact that they are saving these is, oh, she slotted to the backside. No way. Mystic gets back to it and then buries it to the backside of the net. Low-key steam bins as they take the lead.
Almost as if they recognized that Anima was going to flip early there, try to pre-jump that save. Anima had complete faith that was going to go in the middle net between the defenders, but obviously you saw there that Tenax had other ideas on an answer maybe soon to come. Icarus! How did Mystic get to that one? Tenax Premier keep the lead somehow. You would think that there would be 5 goals in this game, but we only got 3. Here's another chance. Icarus blocks Mystic's shot. And HSG the other way. Counterattack with 10 to go. Icarus. Still Icarus. Flick reset. Musty flick. Mystic on the end of it. And Tenax Premier won it gone. Icarus gets another chance at life, but it won't go anywhere. Tenax Premier take game 2. A defensive masterclass. And now they're well in the lead in this series.
I am like, listen, it looks like we're getting a timeout right here. And something that happens in the background for this roster is due at the hands of Baldier, their coach. I think when I think of LSP and what that means to me and how I visualize that for in my life and what I want to see, it's Baldier. I think Baldier exemplifies that on a whole nother level. And if there's anybody to get these guys back into their flow, I think Baldier is the guy. I think behind the scenes, he can kind of keep their composure and keep them focused. And for right now, HSG, I literally don't have words for what we just witnessed, Sporty. I have never seen such a defensive performance in my life. The shots that were coming out, the plays to stop these shots, these were clips that could go on montages that just got stuffed at the goal line. Not just once, but like 8 to 10 times. I am absolutely blown away. And for HSG, it's just a matter of being able to cusp over that edge. The little engine that could, you've got to climb that ridge. And right now, I feel like they're hitting the peak of that mountain, and they've got to find a way over.
Oh, that second minute happening right now. So little bit of time. It's the one and only timeout that HSG are allowed to use in this series, so they've got to use it well. They've got to use it smartly. You don't get another chance from this. And for Tenax Premier, they usually do really well after these timeouts. Even if it's called against them, they generally are a team that finds that way back. But this will slow them down. Simply put, they played well, but they're going to slow down a little bit in this game. Now that HSG's kind of got a new, look into the series, a new outlook in some ways. What we have seen out of Tenax Premier is that they generally don't get two-faced from these timeouts. Some teams do. Tenax is not one of them. So far, whenever time has been called against them, they've been able to really keep up in the next game. They did lose after the timeout against Team Evo, but against HSG, HSG's got to do something that a lot of teams really struggle to do, and that is, use this timeout effectively to topple Tenax Premier's hold, because they've had issues. A lot of teams have had issues doing that. And for HSG, this really is it. If they don't win here, their chance of winning this Champions Cup may as well go with it. You really don't want to have to come back from 3 games down.
Not just 3 games down, but we're talking about 3 games down at the performance level that we're witnessing. I don't want to do it. I'm glad I'm not on the pitch and have to deal with that. So this is going to be a tough one. I think they always say there's almost a game plan to when you call timeouts, and for HSG, I think, and out the gate, Sporty, they get one in the opening 9 seconds of play and took the words right out of my mouth. And for me, it's about momentum. Do you wait until they've gotten 3 and you're in your oh no moment? Or do you take it early and try to disrupt some of that momentum now? And for HSG, I think that's the game plan, and I think it just succeeded.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm surprised how many teams don't actually take timeouts after losing 2 games. HSG, I think, making the right call here. We don't see teams do that often in these tournaments, which I think is surprising because generally you don't want to take them too late. And for HSG, it's all about using it well. They've already off into the lead, but except for Tenax Premier, it's a team that generally does well off of these tactical timeouts. HSG cannot feel safe with that one goalie. Tenax can answer back, but I think what should also be helpful for HSG is that they looked really good at the end of game 2. They looked confident. They actually kept themselves looking like a team, but here's a passing play upfield. Tenax Premier attacking that net. Waffle now. Mystic cut near post away by Icarus as Tenax Premier bumped out of the play. Quest, only a single touch. Waffle dunked out by Icarus, but Geo with a full tank of boost. Pinch this one off the sideball. It's a good bounce as well. Tenax could score on this. Mystic up early. I don't know how they got the dunk on that play. Quest read that perfectly. And Tenax Premier, I don't know if they were even expecting that. As Anima now chasing down for Icarus. Anima killer all over the place. HSG couldn't score there, but the more they look, the more they're going to find their chances, and the more they'll be able to score. As Anima up by 2. HSG Pronoia putting that timeout to use.
And oh my goodness, man. Just the team play, Anima upfield, and the trust he had that his teammate was going to put it right there. And you talked about Quest getting that dunk there on the save. But prior to that, man, this is what I talk about that goes unnoticed. It's the unfiltered, raw stuff that happens in Rocket League. Quest had a chance to challenge at the midfield line, decided to flip back on the play, and was there for that pass that was a shot on net from Tenax Premier. He had his spider senses were tingling. He was able to shut down what was a magnificent pass and a shot on net off the crossbar. She does it. Waffles gets it done with just an edge of the net and bringing him within 1.
And for Icarus, it was absolute pandemonium on that sideball. Absolutely panicking on a play that, honestly, he could have just let by. HSG Pronoia a little bit nervous. I mean, they know Tenax Premier like to hide around the field. They will find spots, and so many of these their touches are intentionally meant for each other to attack on. So the fact that no one was there is actually quite rare for Tenax. They usually have players waiting in position to attack the ball. And for Icarus, I mean, he had to assume that was happening, and it's just a bad touch. Waffle will get to it. It's now another infield pass. Geo! Oh, he's hit it in. Tenax Premier 2 goals back. It's an absolute shootout. Tenax Premier have had the last 2 goals.
And again, it's probably my second favorite thing about casting. One is being able to witness some of these defensive saves and be as excited as I am. But when you get to just watch things develop, Sporty, and it's things that the players on the field, it's that backseat gaming that, we all love and hate, but as a caster, you get to watch it. First, the touch! You're joking me! Icarus gets the redirect! It lands on the far side! HSG with the quick response!
And it could not have been any better. My goodness, Icarus. That was magnificent. And from a game that saw incredible defense, we now get a game that is all offense.
Oh, he just jumped off his car.
HSG! My goodness, is Tenax now a response? Not incoming there is Icarus. Unable to recover. Geo to the corner. Quest demoed out. Tenax, there's their chance. Nobody back, and it's a beautiful play off the bar though. Tenax Premier got another one in play. Geo, oh what a fake! What a fake! It's Waffle all on her own, but Icarus wins the 50. And for HSG Pronoia, they're just sitting on the back line. They're petrified. They don't know what's going to come next. Tenax have so much creativity, so much uniqueness in what they do on their plays. It's tough to predict as that's a mistake there. Waffle to Geo. Mystic's got to turn back, though, and play a little bit more defense. Tenax Premier trying to get the answer, trying to get that third goal, but life's going to be tough. HSG Pronoia are packing that back line.
We're still seeing that defensive power from both of these teams, and on the other side, they've both become quite more accurate. Mystic now up. It's got the wiggle. Oh, bumped off. Oh, almost follows up with the bump from HSG. Again, we talked about them not giving space, or just were allowing early on for too much room for Tenax Premier. They just had way too much space to be able to create plays. Oh, the slot from Anima, not needing any space at all. My goodness, we see it from Geo early on, but if you could do it, they could do it. Holy cow.
And the power, the raw aggression. Eddie's Scarf Gang Pronoia. My, they are not letting go. That timeout was called perfectly because they've really answered back in this game. And they've answered the calls. Anima now. Flip reset. Back wall. Gets the pump too. But Mystic back in time. HSG going for whatever they need to get those goals. Quest kept out. Now Mystic to the back wall. Icarus whiffed it, but no demos there from Mystic. And for Tenax Premier, there's been a lack of demos this game. And for a team that relies so heavily on those plays, without them, you can tell it's a very different look.
Yeah, and man, oh man, dude, these situations that are happening behind the scenes, these demos that are coming out, the space that's getting created. Oh, he gets
my
a touch!
goodness.
Are you joking me? He reads that off the corner. That's an incredible touch. This is blowing me away.
How? Why did he even jump for that, Anima Killer? How did he know that he's supposed to jump for that? That is, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Anima Killer. He's got a sixth sense in him. I don't know where he knew that was bouncing, but he found a way as Icarus double tap down Waffle. He'll send it away, and for Tenax Premier, they've just been outplayed in this game. HSG has had beautiful moments this game, and all of them have been amazing. As Tenax, it's been a game where I think they just needed that warm up again because of that timeout. HSG, they needed that. They are a whole different team right now. And with every single play looking as magnificent as it is, Tenax Premier is going to be a little bit more nervous. They gotta feel a little bit nervous as the shot from Geo not there. Mystic on the back post. That's gonna be wide. And as time ticks out, it's gonna be HSG's game. They've taken one against Tenax Premier. The tactical timeout used perfectly, and for HSG, it's now about just continuing that.
Dude, you said spider senses are tingling from Anima. Bro, I swear I can feel it on my own skin. Oh, the shot, he almost slots into the corner, but another close call. HSG Pronoia get the job done, and they find themselves on the board in the series. Dude, I don't know how they do it. I would be losing my mind if I was on the pitch.
Unfortunately, we get to be watching this. We're not nearly good enough to hit those kind of shots, but these players are. And we've got such a good grand finals for all of you here. We're only going into game number 4, and for all that HSG have shown, it's about doing it again. Because so far, for Tenax, they do find ways to answer back after those tactical timeouts. They didn't do well this game though. So for HSG, they're en route to continuing this. They just got to make sure that it becomes more consistent for them.
Now, you've seen a little bit more from Tenax Premier. When we talked about HSG, when we talked about who needed to step up, we asked that of Quest. We can see him getting in. Look at the 3 assists. Almost every shot was assisted coming from HSG. He's getting in. He's not always the guy making the plays happen as far as the goals, but he is getting involved, and that's exactly what happened. We saw the tactical timeout. Did Baldier come into play there? Was there a conversation, and what happened for HSG Premier? And now when you talk about Tenax Premier, Sporty, who in your eyes is that voice to kind of get them back on pace?
It would have to be Mystic. Those demos are necessary for them to be successful. I mean, Waffle specifically is the voice for this team, but I want to see Mystic. He was very quiet last game, couldn't really get those demos, didn't really go for too many of them. Tenax Premier need demos to be successful, simply put, and it's going to have to come down from Mystic. He was been the player that's done that all night. It's going to be his job to get his team back on track as Waffle now looking to get that early goal, really set the tone for Tenax Premier early, but HSG can answer back, infield, Geo, ooh, he's whiffed on this one, but Waffle taken away by Icarus, although Geo again waiting, Mystic bumped out, but he will get this touch, and Tenax Premier, Mystic, oh, and a touch towards net, 2 went for HSG, but Anima Killer, look at this recovery, could not get the final touch, but he puts the pressure on, and Tenax Premier giving the ball away. HSG Pronoia will go back up field and in the offensive half.
Icarus, oh, the reset. He's still got possession. Dude, Waffles on the read. She is just remarkable at keeping her distance at the midfield line and creating space. Oh, the shot. Are you joking me? Gio with the putback. But talk about a robbery. Mystic off the corner post. Anima puts everything on the line, but holy cow. I just can't get enough of this.
It will still go in. Close will not be good enough in the grand finals of this Champions Cup. When you're at the best of the best, those kind of plays can happen. But Mystic, looking for number 2. This one will bounce midfield. Anima whiffed it completely. Waffle now. Icarus. That's a great play midfield. Geo's waiting on the end of it though, and Tenax Premier have yet another chance to score. Anima demoed out of the way. The net's open. Mystic's walking through. Waffle's playing enforcer, and Tenax Premier are back in charge.
Oh my goodness, we knew that you said they were going to have the clap back. You knew they were able to kind of bounce back from these situations, and that's exactly what they're seeing. And for HSG, I think for me, we need to see one more. We need to see them get on the board again. Another loss here could just really make the next bit of games just a little bit tougher. And against a roster that we're seeing, after the defensive performance we're seeing tonight from both of these teams, I just don't know if I want to catch myself in the latter half of this series and have to score against it. I mean, these shots have been absolutely... Oh, the miss! Mystic capitalizes on the mistake, a game of inches, and it just was a slight miscalculation for HSG, and you can't leave them at the front doorstep, and especially not with the front door wide open.
Tenax Premier up by 3, and once again it's an early start. Once again in the first almost 90 seconds, the Tenax Premier have just scored early, really set the tone early. And HSG, I mean, they're trying to do it themselves, but when you got Tenax Premier scoring essentially at will, it's very tough to answer as Waffle. Mystic, that's off the bar and out, but Mystic again. Now the bump, it's open for Geo. Mystic going for those classic bump plays, and for Tenax Premier, the goals keep coming.
And we talked about it. You said you were looking at the eyes of Mystic. You were wanting to know where they were going to come into play. They needed to step up and start creating space, and we saw it from Quest, and now on the other side of the pitch, the voice behind the chaos. Mystic standing the test of time in this series, giving themselves a major lead here in this match. Quest now looking for a play at midfield, can't find it. Mystic back towards the net. Anima, the pop-up. Quest up early, wants the touch, finds it, nobody home. This one slotted to the top bins. HSG Pronoia find 1, but they still need 3 more.
And you said it starts with 1. That's the one that HSG was looking for. It's come almost halfway through this game, but it's the goal that they can start off with. In Game 4, no matter if they would lose here or not, the series is far from over, but Tenax Premier, I mean, for HSG, they've got to find ways to beat that defense, because Tenax Premier, they're back in control. Again, that tactical timeout didn't do too much to hurt them. And HSG, under a lot of pressure, Waffle. He's going to have this one away, and for HSG, they've got to get offense, but Waffle the demo. Up goes Mystic, and nobody to beat him! Tenax Premier at a 5th, and Mystic is going off.
Babe Ruth just stepped into the plate, cocked his shoulders back, and cranked one out of the park. Mystic knocks one out completely from coast to coast. A beautiful performance as they'd have a 4-point lead just over the halfway point. And this is where we talk about mentals, and I stress it all the time, is a lot of teams, and we've all been that guy too. You're down a lot early, you want to forfeit, your teammate doesn't, and you got to kind of shake those situations off. And for HSG, you're in the grand finals. You got to remind yourself of that, and to be able to Oh, the shot! Oh. These are the types of shakeoffs. Man, if I could turn my hair around and shake my hair, I would. Man, these are the shakeoffs you got to be able to have for HSG. They've got to be able to continue to have these. They got to be able to shake off these guys and be able to continue to put shots on net. Now, putting another one on board, trailing by 3. Do they have enough to slow down Tenax Premier here in this match?
Mystic with room, but with Icarus waiting in front of him. Tenax Premier, I mean, it's just consistent, it's aggressive, it's annoying, and it's so tough to beat. Mystic, Anima Killer. Oh, that's gone the wrong direction. Tenax Premier, gotta be careful, but that redirect never happening. Geo will wait on it. He will have to be careful with those early challenges. It's Tenax Premier's ball. Tenax Premier's space, and it's Tenax Premier's game right now to lose. HSG, can I just get offense? Because right now they're stretching for saves. Now they've bumped each other. Mystic through them all. 6-2. Mystic's got 4 goals and 2 assists. 100% participation. And for Tenax Premier, you know, he's the player that has been alive tonight. And in the grand finals, when everything's on the line, when for Tenax Premier, they've never been here before, Mystic is bringing in everything they need.
For HSG, now's the time to use this as almost a second timeout. You've got a minute, a little over a minute on the clock. 4 points it's a tough one. Can it happen? It can, but you got to start having those good conversations now. Prepare yourself for what's coming next, because the series is on the line from here on out for HSG, and they're going to be looking to keep things alive and send this to Game 7. But right now, they've got to find a way to shut off Tenax Premier here and now.
In Game 4 with Tenax with so many goals, so many opportunities. We've seen them since their quarterfinals round here. And for a team like Tenax, who has seen so much success tonight, so much work for them. I mean, this is another game where it doesn't even feel that close. They just feel like they're in control, that there's nothing that can beat them. By far and away, they've been the best team so far in every match they've played in that they've won, and even in this match it feels like they're still by far and away the better team. HSG just doesn't know how to answer, doesn't know how to respond to this. And Tenax Premier, once again, going up 3-1 in the series after winning Game 4. They've done this 2 times already, won both their series from this position. And while HSG will get one more parting goal, and when we go to Game 5 for Tenax Premier, it's a very familiar position.
And for HSG, I love to see again that they're finishing strong. It tells me that they still are in the right headspace. The difference is they got a timeout after this time. They don't have it here. They've got to be able to kind of find that momentum and continue to find that momentum leading into the next match. And for Tenax Premier, it's about staying on top of the wave, man. Once you get up and you're riding on the wave, everything's all cool and collected. And for Tenax Premier, that's where they hope things stay. HSG Pronoia. We needed to see you lock in, and we need to see it happen again as they have their series on the line headed into game number 5.
ATS's hopes and dreams of winning a Champions Cup matchup rest on Tenax Premier to win one more game. For HSG Pronoia, a team of champions, a team that has seen themselves at the top, who swept their grand finals against 7 Savages in the RLSS Season 6 Surge Cup grand finals. They've got to go to Game 5, something that they only did once during that run, against the Sunset Olives in the quarterfinals. But against Tenax Premier, a much tougher ask, I think, out of these teams. Tenax Premier is a team you've got to watch out for. And for right now, it just looks like smooth sailing. They look like they're well in control. And that's the scary part about this, that they're playing against HSG Pronoia. But let me remind you, this is HSG Pronoia we're talking about. This is a team that won. And pretty convincing. They swept the grand finals against 7 Savages. They won their previous match 4-1 in the semi-finals against Mach 10 Academy. They beat Sunset Olives in Game 7. Tenax Premier came into this, we're not even one of the teams that auto-qualified into this event from the Apex Cup. They had to go to a play-ins to play against other teams to make it to this point. They weren't even given a spot. They had to play for it. And now they're in the grand finals, one game away up with triple match points against the team that won it all in the Rocket League Splash Series Surge Cup. And Waffles getting things started. Tenax Premier, 10 seconds in, up by 1. And right now they're 4 minutes and 50 seconds away from winning the grand finals.
I got another base face moment, a beautiful shot to the top bins, putting them up by 1 for HSG. They've got to find a way to come back, and You're absolutely right. Tenax Premier is going up against a team that not only won the grand finals, but has been to multiple grand finals. They've seen what it's like to be here, and will it pay dividends for it? Will it be exposed here in the latter half of this series? We're about to find out, but they've got a tough road in front of them. This is arguably one of the best teams that we've seen all tournament long. They had a tough road getting in, and then they go 3-1. They've got to prove their worth. Now they're here, and they're going up against HSG, who just got done winning a championship in RLSS, and they're up big, and they're looking to put things away here on Aquadome.
Geo down to Mystic. The infield pass will not get through Quest. HSG, this is must-win territory. No more lives left. No more tactical timeouts can be used either out of HSG. Tenax Premier have got them in a lockhold, but HSG still have these games to play. Can still get back. Anima couldn't do it there. The save made just in time as Mystic will clear it the other way. Icarus, only as far as Mystic. The net's there. Oh, what a save. Anima Killer gets back in time. Waffles follow-up save by Icarus. And HSG Pronoia, they've got to be careful because right now Mystic cannot miss the nets and cannot seem to stop putting the shots in the worst places possible.
Ooh, that was a close call there. Now Geo's got the room. Waffle on the far side. That one not going to find its way. Anima plays it up the sidewall. Quest on the pickup. Plays it low, plays it slow. Now through the corner. Beautiful punch here from Mystic. This one out to midfield. They look for some breathing room. Resetting the offense. HSG back up field. This one goes wide. They pull two. Quest with the putback. This one played away. Geo on the save. HSG not done yet. The barrage continues. But now Waffle. Big clear for her. She clears over the midfield line. Now wants a center. Finds it off of 50. The shot doesn't ring through, but late. Now off the backboard. They've got an opportunity. Anima's there first. And this is a little bit of a back and forth as we approach the halfway point.
And Tenax Premier just keeping things calm, holding the 1-goal lead. It may only be 1 goal that will get them that championship, but Geo setting up Mystic. No second goal there, at least not yet for Tenax. And what I love so much about Tenax is that every touch they make, it has intention. There's always a player near it. There's always a player on it. They're never going to give out that play. They're never going to give the ball away for free either. There's always going to be someone that's chasing after it, one way or another. So for HSG, they're never going to have free space, because Tenax Premier are always going to look to cut that down as Geo double taps it away, and Tenax Premier holding on offense even more. A little over 2 minutes to go. HSG have got to score, or else this grand finals will be over and will be history.
West bumped up field, now has to make a play in their attacking zone. See how they recover. Quest plays it to the corner, looking for his center. Broken up by Mystic. Here comes Anima, the floater, grabbed by Geo off the back wall. And again, it's moments like that, as a defensive-minded caster and somebody who just loves seeing it, it's crazy to me how many times I watch Rocket League just not reward a save, and it just gets to me. These players making magnificent touches. Now Anima to the back wall, watch the waterfall, almost there. Here comes Quest, the shot played away by Geo, and for now, Tenax Premier, the defense standing tall.
I think another thing to talk about for Tenax Premier is this is their first time playing for Tenax Premier. This team used to be known as Incorrect. White used to play for Incorrect as well, but this is their first time playing on this new org in Tenax, and they're making this new org proud, I'm sure. They're 1 minute away, 60 seconds out from that championship. As time ticks away, can Geo take this over? It's Mystic up high, still in front. The net's very vulnerable, but HSG holding in as Tenax Premier's run in this grand finals. They may be able to take it here. Waffle to settle it. Quest with the block. Now he's going to chain dash his way there, but it's in front for Anima. Geo saves it off the back wall. Quest wanted to get a piece of that, but without any boost, he's going to be forced to go back. As Icarus not able to get through Waffle. Anima, Waffle again. That backfield is open. Can Waffle push it through? It's bounced high. Quest has missed it. No one really jumping for it, though. Tenax Premier sitting back, playing defense, but they're not sitting too far back. They're still playing that midfield, still winning those challenges. And as time ticks away, so too due to the chances of HSG Pronoia. Tenax Premier, 1 goal 10 seconds in, maybe all they need. We have 10 seconds left. Mystic to the back wall. Geo, Mystic again. Icarus will block. They've got to go down the field, but Waffle keeps it high. Anima Killer dunked away. Tenax to take one more. They won't need it. From the ATS Apex Cup play-ins to the Grand Finals, now they're champions. Tenax Premier will take home the ATS RLSS Champions Cup 2.
What a series, man. Tenax Premier showing up and showing out up here at the end of the run. The Grand Finals goes their way as they take down HSG Pronoia in a big way, man. Their offense just looked prime. Their passes were there. They were filling gaps and shutting down an aggressive HSG. They just played perfect Rocket League. That's what we just saw here tonight.
As you said as well, what a performance, what a run. It has been, I mean, it's been like the best we've ever seen this Tenax Premier team play. I mean, simply put, that is what I would call pure consistency, pure style here tonight. I mean, they never had to see Champions Field at all tonight. They never really looked ever out of it. They just looked amazing. As, my goodness, what a performance from Tenax Premier. That is a deserved win for ATS, the first time they've won the Champions Cup. Tenax Premier doing it in very dominant style in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, they did it magnificently well. They handled that timeout efficiently. They slowed down HSG and were able to kind of capitalize in the latter half of this series. And it was really exciting to watch. Their defense stayed strong and their offense was able to capitalize on a lot of those moments.
As you said as well, what a performance. The defense, yeah, we can't mention too much about that because the defense has been insane. But my goodness, it's been incredible so far here. This Champions Cup 2 ending off in magnificent style. Tenax Premier. It's, you know, Waffle, Mystic, Geo. I know, and we shouldn't forget about their manager and coach in Saturn. This team deserves to be here and stand atop the rest. They join us now. Welcome in to our ATS Champions Cup 2 winners. Tenax Premier, who themselves, you guys have never made it past the semifinals in any ATS event. And you come into this, you play the best you've ever have, and you win the whole thing. A huge performance. Waffle, my goodness, it's, you know, you've been on this team for such a long time. What does it mean now to not only make it to the Grand Finals, to push back past that playoff barrier you guys have always had, but to win the whole thing?
Big props to Geo. Honestly, Geo's been here since the start. Like, the roster has all changed around him. Like, he's been here since the start, and he is still cooking just as much as he was day one.
For me, something that really stood out, we saw such a defensive performance. I mean, I'm telling you right now, there was a point where I was out of my seat and shaking. The defensive stops that were coming out were absolutely insane. But walk me through kind of what happened coming into Game 4. You get the win from HS. They call the timeout. They get the win. You know that something's got to change. What did change? Was it a mental decision that happened? Or was there something on the pitch that kind of took place that kind of set the precedence for you guys in the latter half of that series?
Yeah. So one thing that we always do is we always take that full minute in between games. And without fail, I swear it has gotten us 1 or 2 game wins every single series because we basically get a free timeout after every game because we're used to it, so it doesn't affect us at all. We get that free timeout. Other teams completely not prepared for it.
Love to hear it.
And you know, maybe that's a call as well from Saturn. I know Saturn, you know, sitting behind. We don't ever mention the coach too much in the decision making here for next year. I think only one of 2 teams in this top 8 that had a coach on their roster. But I mean, for you, Saturn, yourself have been with this team for a very long time. You have moved with them through all the changes. Take us through kind of what happens behind the scenes, because I don't think most people can truly understand the importance that a coach has on any roster.
I thought we went into this very well prepared. You know, we've been working our butts off for a while for this event, and I'm very proud of how they're working. We knew our game plans going in for every team. They executed things very well, knew what our adjustments were going to be, and being able to bounce back after some rough losses. I'm very proud of them for that. Did a good job.
Yeah, for me, man, it was just really exciting. You guys came in. I heard some good stories about you guys coming in to this tournament. You know, how does it feel knowing you had the road that you had? You had the play-in tournament. You got to find your place. You get your place. You go 3-1 in Swiss, and now you're going toe-to-toe against a team that has been to the championship, who has just came off a championship. I mean, is there anything that you guys do mentally to get yourself prepared for some of these tough matches?
I would honestly say that we come in with, the best confidence we've had, like whenever we need it. Um, we go right in, like we didn't really know who these guys were. We didn't really see how they played. We weren't in the same league as them. It's the first time we're playing them, and we just know that we can be better than anybody when we want to perform, and we performed very well, and clearly seen that, we did that.
Answer coming from Mystic, but for you, Geo, I mean, as Waffle said, you've been on this roster for a very long time. Back during the Incorrect White days, you have been on this roster. But for this event, you didn't auto-qualify yet. Unlike the last event where you did, this event you didn't. You had to go through the ATS Apex Cup play-ins just to get here. And that didn't even guarantee you a good seed going into the Swiss stage. It all starts with that one step. If we take this all the way back to those play-ins, I know it's a long time ago, and I know it's going to be a bit weird to remember, but again, your first match against 100x Breeze, then to get into that event as well. Talk to me about the play-ins, about that first step that it was like for you guys, because that was all the way back in late July. We're now a whole month after that. But talk to us about that kind of first step, and now obviously being here, because I don't think people realize that you guys didn't auto qualify into the event. You had to play on a qualifier to just get here.
Yeah, I mean, the play-ins, I'm pretty sure we didn't actually even know that we were gonna make it into play-ins, but once we did, we were like, okay, we just kind of have to play our game. And I think we weren't really the same team we were back then that we are now, like in a good way. Obviously, I think we've improved a lot coming into this event in like that month gap. I think did us a lot of good. But yeah, I think the play-ins, like we just took it as like, okay, this will be a good chance to play some better teams and just get practice, right? We didn't really put any extra pressure on ourselves. We're like, it'll be what it'll be. As long as we play our game, it should work out.
Now, something that we talk about. Sorry, I got 13 just hit me with a question. Something we talk about is, people being a difference maker. And tonight, I think through the tournament and then coming into this matchup, you really needed to be able to solidify being able to get through some of those barriers, whether you knew it or not. Coming against tough team opponents, coming from a different league, you're coming against an opponent you've never played against. You got to be able to adapt to that. They've won championships before. You got to be able to adapt to that. And through all of those barriers, you guys were able to get through. And I think it's in agreement across the board that is going to come from our MVP that we're going to decide tonight, and that is Mystic. So congratulations on the MVP. A wonderful performance from you. And when your team needed you most, when they need you to create space, that's exactly what you were doing. And that's the type of stuff that got me up out of my seat here tonight.
Thank you.
Of course, Mystic, now that you kind of have received that MVP award, probably sweetens the moment even more for you. But of course, we always give a little MVP speech even before the shoutouts. So now you kind of have received that MVP, you get your little speech afterwards. We always do this. It's always a little bit of fun to have the MVP speech right after we award the MVP award. So, what's your thoughts like right now? What are you thinking?
I mean, I just want to appreciate my teammates. I mean, they let me do what I do, and we play around just the play style that we have, right? And I appreciate the MVP award, but at the end of the day, it's a team effort, and I can only be grateful for how we performed and just everybody else that was supporting us, like the fans and other stuff. So yeah.
Well, of course, and of course, with it being that team effort, the team comes together today to win the championship. Congratulations, Tenax Premier. Before we obviously move on to our final remarks, we're going to get some shoutouts from all of you. So let's start with Coach Saturn. Saturn, do you have any shoutouts you want to say? Any final messages for anybody else out there? Anybody in specifically that you want to mention?
I'd say shout out to our opponents. All these series have been extremely fun for us, and it's definitely a pleasure for us to get to come out here and compete every single week in leagues like this and tournaments like this. So we definitely appreciate the competition. It's always been good fun. We appreciate the competitors being good sports with us. So shout out to them.
Of course, now moving on to Geo. Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, probably my grandparents, since I don't know if you guys know this, but on Wednesday, like a tree in our backyard, it literally snapped in half and came down on a power line and like destroyed our garage. So we've had like no power, no anything. There's been tons of branches in our backyard and stuff. So we didn't even know if I was going to play in this, but my parents or my grandparents let me bring my entire setup. So I'm currently like in the room next to their living room on their kitchen table. I have my entire setup here. And so, yeah, they got to deal with me screaming and stuff every time we scored a goal.
Well, we gotta move
So-
on now. Of course, you gotta shout out all of these, the people that support you here. We'll move on now to Mystic. Mystic, well, you've had your MVP speech, but now you have your little time to get your shout outs out. Is there anyone that you want to shout out right now?
Yeah, I just want to shout out everybody from Tenax that was supporting us, even not from Tenax supporting us. The opponents that we played, great teams, and just shout out to my teammates and everyone else that's been following us.
Question. We gotta end things off with the captain, as always. Waffle, is there anything you want to say? Anything that you want to say, now that you've won the whole thing? Is there anybody out there that you want to mention specifically?
I want to shout out my friend because she taught me how to demo properly, and I took that all of the way. I would also like to shout out HSG Pronoia for finally beating Wiffer Wetjets. We are currently 0-4 against them in series.
Yeah, for real.
Unironically.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's your kryptonite. We know that because that's the only team you guys have lost to in this event, and also in the ATS Apex Cup Season 2. That was the team that you lost to in the semifinals. But of course, you guys though can say that you are the best, that you are the champions. Congratulations on your win. But of course, we gotta get some final remarks. And I know 50's here. He always loves to say things. 50, you always get the chance to have some final remarks. Is there anything in specific that you want to mention now?
Honestly, what a Champions Cup event this was. There was really no favorites going in here. There were so many strong teams from the RLSS side, from the ATS side. But ATS finally showed up this time around and showed we can hang with the big boys and ended up taking it all. But shout out to everybody that played, especially from the RLSS side, and all the 8 great teams that came from over there. Shout out to all the casters. I mean, we had 8 fantastic streams going yesterday, and even more casters today, and we just had a very good time. I feel like it ran really smooth. Besides a little hiccup with the delay in 30 minutes yesterday, but I think that benefited everybody. So I was really happy to make that move. Shout out to ODU for stepping up and filling the spot, even though when a lot of people didn't think they deserved it. Coming top 8 again really showed that they still belong and can compete with the best of the best. Shout out to just everybody that played today. I know Wiffer Wetjets, it's a tough pill to swallow to lose in the semifinals, especially when if there was a favorite, they were definitely going to be one of the top 2 teams to play here at the end. But honestly, at any given day, any team can win, and this 10X roster, coming in from the play-ins, not really having a guaranteed shot to even be here, and just coming up through that, just showing that even just given an opportunity to, a team like this, all you need is one shot, and once you get there, you make of it what you do, and these people here showed today that, they are the best and deserve to be the Champions Cup 2 champions. So congratulations to Saturn, Geo, Mystic, Waffle, and everyone else over there at 10X and all the fans that support them. I know personally, how much effort these people put in, these 4 right here, and with the different roster changes and stuff. They always show up to play. Doesn't matter what league, what time, what day. They're always here with the right mindset to win, and they got the job done today. So super proud of these lads right here. Really excited for them, and really excited for the future. RLSS season 7 is coming up soon. Signups should be opening up soon, I believe. Tommy, if you want to talk about that in a little bit, and then obviously we got season 3 signups for ATS going on right now. But with Worlds coming around here, we wanted to give a little taste of that sort of energy just in our own scene, in our own little community. And I feel like we accomplished that, these past couple of days with all the different tournaments going on, in the community. It's just been, I'm really grateful to just be involved in any opportunity I can. So I just want to appreciate everyone else that has joined this journey along with, ourselves here, Sporty Goat, as we call you. Let's not forget that. and everyone else. Leopard has been a huge addition as the director here, and there's lots and lots more Rocket League to come, lots and lots more events, and it's just a great community to be a part of, and I really appreciate everybody that can make this happen.
Well, Tommy, do you want to talk about RLSS Season 7? I think, because we're ATS, we always talk about our seasons, but you need to talk about yours. This is RLSS, ATS RLSS, so you gotta talk about the RLSS side.
So yeah, Season 7's coming. We had a little bit longer of an off season, made some changes to some of our formatting, updated our rules, just made sure that everything was kind of the way that we see fit as we keep kind of, I think the thing with ATS and RLSS is just every season, every time we have these events, it just feels like we're pushing the envelope a little bit further in the competitive environment. I think you need to adjust guidelines and rules as that thing goes on. So once we got that out, sign up should be coming up. I'll get a little inside peek within the week. So they're coming very, very soon. I'm just excited, man. I'm still shaky just a little bit. That defensive standing tonight was absolutely crazy, man. I don't know. I literally got up out of my seat. Like I was just absolutely blown away. And that's the big thing I talk about a lot at this level of play. There's so many teams out there. There's so many leagues, man. We're only touching the surface, even just on like the Northeast side of things. Here in the United States, you still have the entire West Coast. So, everything else and everything in between. So it's just amazing to be able to see, two leagues to be able to come together and showcase, the type of talent that can be had. And tonight, Tenax Premier's showcase that they belong at the top. And it's amazing to be able to see these guys come out and dedicate the time that they do. So much love goes out to everybody that comes out and plays and keeps this thing going.
And as well, and of course, ATS Season 3 signups open. I also am going to announce this. Signups are not open just yet. We've got another Paradise Cup coming up. ATS has a crew battles tournament coming up very, very soon. I can't say too much about it because it's not my tournament. It's Leopard's tournament. Leopard's the one who's running it. So again, shout out to Leopard for doing all the great things he has. We've added him in recently. He's already ran 8-1 Paradise Cup, and that ran amazingly. I got to stream a good amount of that as well. You're going to not want to miss the next one. This is going to be even bigger, even better, but I can't say too much. But just know, signups for that are going to open very, very soon. So for all of you, there's a lot of things still open. I know so many people talk about the amateur scene in Rocket League always suffering, during this time of the year. It's not suffering. Not when RLSS is around, not when ATS is around, not when so many other leagues are around. You can talk about all these other amateur leagues around as well. Expect a lot of collaboration between some of these leagues as well, because I can tell you, it's going to be pretty exciting. I mean, the future of the amateur scene, I think, is going to be collaboration. So I can't wait to see more of that. And so you're only getting a little bit of that. But, of course, I don't want to talk too much. I know for a lot of people, it's been an exhausting night of action, but it's been a good kind of exhausting. Congratulations to Tenax Premier on the win here in the championship, and thank you to all of you for joining here today to support ATS and RLSS. From me, from you, from TommyBuckets 50, Tenax Premier here, I'm Sporty FC, from all of our casters, lovely production assistants, our staff, and our fans, all of you, we thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining the ATS RLSS Champions Cup 2. When we come back, it will be ATS Season 3 and RLSS Season 7. But don't expect these Champions Cups to end anytime soon. For now, have a great rest of your night. And, when ATS and RLSS come back, it's going to be just as good, if not better.